game with the kicking, had a 40-yard field goal that was good, had a 49-yard field goal that was called back. E Plus TV 6 joining us here as we have the captains meeting out at midfield. Denair Woodard, the linebacker, the 6-foot, 240-pounder out of Lane via Detroit, Michigan, one of the captains there, along with Dexter Anoike, the 5'10", 180-pound quarterback from Atlanta, Georgia, played at UTM. The captains for the Blast making their way out to midfield. Pernell Newell, also out there, the big guy that you see lumbering out there, Charles Miller, and one of the other captains, we can't make out his number, that is actually Jermaine Chambers, a running back and defensive player as well, a rookie for the Blast out of Memphis. This is the Gridiron Developmental Football League. Bill Sorrell is here. He's covering the action for the Jackson Sun. As the War Eagles, you see them decked out in the orange, white, and blue, and then the blue and gray across the way of the Memphis Blast as they come in here today to take on your War Eagles here from Jackson. But again, 21-0 last week. I want to remind you that next week we'll be with you from Huntsville, Alabama, as the War Eagles will travel there to take on the Huntsville Hurricanes. And looking at the schedule so you can make your plans to come out and see this exciting franchise, the Arkansas Pirates come in here on June the 26th. The River City Raptors out of Kentucky, July the 10th. The Memphis Predators scheduled to be back here on July the 17th. July the 24th, one of the 4 road games that the team will play. They'll travel to Arkansas, and they'll take on the Arkansas Pirates back here on July the 31st against the Huntsville Hurricanes. August the 7th, the Memphis Blast will be there. They play their games at Memphis Melrose, by the way. August the 14th, the Mississippi Raiders will come in here. An open date on the 21st, and then the playoffs begin on August the 28th. We'll get the acknowledgement. We see Larry Lewis and all the gang here that will man the officials, the Zebras here today, and Hal Freeman about to move in and do our color work with us as we had the game solo for you last week, and good to have Hal Freeman back with us. Hal, by the way, you're on number 1 here, and we'll just tell Hal on the front end here that I hope that we got all the commercial commitments at halftime at the breaks worked out here. I know that we're going, if you're watching us, you'll see the action here, but you won't hear much as we do the radio and audio for you during even the breaks as well. But Hal, good to be back with you. You and I worked the Lambeth games for many, many years, and it's good to be back at LL Farmville Field, and it's the home debut of the War Eagles as they get ready to receive this opening kickoff after winning the toss, sir.
Yeah, it's an outstanding day out here, and you really thought that the heat would hold people away, but we're starting to have a pretty good crowd here, and this is exciting for the city of Jackson, exciting for the both these ball clubs, Memphis Blast and the West Tennessee War Eagles. So I know these kids are really excited today, and folks, if you're in earshot of us, come on out. It's a great day. It's only $10, and man, you just can't find better entertainment in Jackson, Tennessee for this.
And it's going to be on ESPN Radio, 96.5 WBFG, and everything A-OK, I hope, on E Plus TV 6.
Yeah, we're doing great on the E Plus, thanks to Sam Turner. He's worked with us real hard today, and the whole crew there, Thomas Verghese, and we just got a tremendous crew that helps us out, works with these kids, and these are all students that run this production crew.
And we'll get all their names worked in here on the telecast in just a minute as well. So I think we can call it a network today, folks, with the radio and the TV as well. The officials are here. It's a sun splash day, and Hal, I can't remember many days when you and I were out here that it was this hot out here in the mid-90s right now, we understand. 95 degrees with the heat index up to 105 in parts of West Tennessee.
I think you and I had a couple of games down in Mississippi that was close to this.
Yeah, down in Belhaven. I'll tell you what, matter of fact, I've got to be back down there this year. I noticed that on the schedule the other day. We get ready for the kickoff, and to receive this kickoff will be Latrell Billingsley, who really looked good last week, Hal, and also back to number 15, Kenya Ingram. He is from Union City, Tennessee, and this kid can really scoot as well. The kick will take place here, and it's going to be kicked off by, well, let's check out those numbers. Hal, I don't know about you, but those numbers are very difficult for me to read here.
No, and all dark, so that's going to be a very difficult day for numbers.
But I do have a roster of the other team this week. Last week I had about a partial roster, so we got through that. I think you're going to really like the quarterback too, Hal. Dexter Anoike played up at UTM, and I'm telling you, he can really play. And he really wasn't in sync last week either, Hal, because he'd only been there just 2 or 3 practices. Here's the kick, and it's going to be kicked away, and it's going to be fielded by one of the up men, and filling that ball will be Justin Mood. Mood's at the 30. Mood's at the 35 to 40. He's at midfield. Mood may go. 45-40, 35-30. Mood may go in. It's going to be a touchdown, War Eagles. No flags on the play, and Hal, what a way to open up at home.
Wow. He bobbled the ball just a bit, and after he bobbled it, he saw his hole, followed his blockers, and down the right sidelines, nobody touched him. just a tremendous run. What an exciting way to open up the season.
Well, I'm going to give him 75 yards. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. 75. I tell you, our grounds crew did an outstanding job with what they had with the paint, and it's going to be difficult to spot, but I think you're right. 75 yards on that one, Dave.
Yeah, we understand Don Pitt did a great job. But good to see my good man Brandon Shields here. He's over here to the left. We'll move Brandon in the shade here if he likes.
Yeah, Brandon doesn't need to get the
sunscreen doesn't need to be out there in that sun, but what a way to open up the home campaign.
I tell you what, that's just exciting for everybody here, and a little bit of trouble, as you're going to imagine, early on in the season, trying to get the right personnel in on the extra point. And as they tried, I think they finally got them set, and they're going to have plenty of time to get this extra point up.
Roth will be the holder. Sean Frazier, the kicker. They both know each other. They both played at Bethel. Snap back, ball down, kick up. It sails into the north end zone, and good that guy on the motorbike had already hesitated for a moment. It's 7-0, the Frazier PAT with 14:42. That didn't take long. How we're going to keep it here. We didn't have much of a chance to do a pregame on the TB side, so it is good to be back, but an exciting way to open up the home campaign with a 75-yard kickoff return by Justin Mood. Let's tell you a little bit about him. He is normally a wide receiver, 5'6", 180 from McNary, played down at McNary Central.
Yeah, you know, and believe it or not, we got to see him play a couple of games against Southside High School, and so knew he was a very talented young man. But, boy, when he got up the sidelines, he turned on the afterburners, and no one from the Memphis Blast was within 10 yards once he broke containment.
The general manager is Ken Williams. The head coach is Trent Boykin. Brian Moyers is the public address announcer. Public relations director is Erica Davis. Denise Campbell is in charge of marketing of the War Eagles. Athletic training is provided by Sports Plus. Running backs coach Rodney Clark. Dean Lavia, the quarterback coach. Jim Hardegree, defensive coordinator, and I have not yet. Jim is here.
Yeah.
He was undergoing some tests. You can always see the very familiar hat that he wears down below. Dennis Roberts, I should say, the defensive back coach, and of course playing here at LF Unville Field. Good to see Coach Hardegree back. He was undergoing some tests last week and missed him down in Memphis.
Wow, it is good to see him back. Always very familiar hat, and so.
Here's Frazier's kick. And that's a great kick. It drives Antoine Brown back into the goal line. He's to the 10, to the 15, and will be hit at about the 24-yard line and hit there by a host of War Eagles. And there to lead the way is Sean McCormick, who had a great game. He played at Bethel as well. He's from Parsons, Tennessee. McCormick, 6'3", 250. And Brown able to get back to about the 24-yard line, a 24-yard kickoff return, Hal Friedman.
Yeah, and that's a great kick. You know, when you can have a weapon like that, when you kick to the goal line, it makes that kickoff return that much more difficult. And the West Tennessee War Eagles did a great job of containment. Anytime you can hold within the 25-yard line, that gives your defense a great advantage. And I've heard from you listening last week, Dave, that this turned out to be a tremendous defensive line last week.
They really played well. Everyone played well last week. It will be Davis and Vardamer, your defensive ends. The big nose guard there is Larry Faust from Brownsville, played at Haywood. Quarterback in the shotgun. And here's the snap and hand off to the running back, nothing there. Taking the snap was Melvin Jones. They list him as a wide receiver, but he's in there at the quarterback position. And how that didn't go anywhere, a loss of a couple yards, and leading the attack that time, Denard Woodard and Faust there as well.
You know what I like about that? You see that aggressive defense. The linebackers cheated up, and the linebackers read the play real well. And what they did, they shot the gaps and almost got the handoff in the backfield. That is a very aggressive defensive front there for almost a 4-yard loss.
Certainly the case, and we'll spot all that defense for you here in a minute. Some changes from last week. Faust is along that front line, along with big number 93, Stephen Turner, who had a good game. He's another fellow Haywood County, and so two Tomcats right there. Also, Trey Vardamer, the 3-man down front there. Quarterback again in the gun, that being again Melvin Jones. And a little bit of movement, and Turner comes across and nails one of the offensive linemen. Let's see what they call here.
Yeah, the offensive lineman moved, and, you know, those big guys, when it's this high, they're wanting to go, and they can't jump that early.
Some of those other players, Greg Luster played here at Lambuth University, so he's very familiar with this field. Zarius Morgan getting the start today. And Terry Franklin, one of the linebackers. We mentioned Faust and Davis. Linebacker 2 is Jermaine Harris. Corners, Anton Anderson. I don't think Anderson's playing today, and I think Morgan starting for him is the case. He tweaked the hamstring last week. I'm not sure that he's still with the team. We'll find out.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the snap in the gun, throwing, and almost picked off. Good play there by Bug Luster, who had a hand on that ball, and the pass out here to the 25-yard line goes for an out.
Yeah, it's good to see Bug out here, and Bug broke on that ball just right. Luckily, the quarterback there for the Blast threw it a little bit above his outreach, and boy, it puts this defense in a great position. You can do almost anything you want against this Memphis Blast team, because really at this point they look a little out of sync.
Keith Wardlow from Humboldt played for the Chattanooga Stream. He is the free safety. As we set the numbers for you, we mentioned Morgan just a moment ago, and it is Jermaine Harris, one of those other linebackers. So we get things straight for you. It's now 3rd down and 19. The ball back to the 15-yard line. Snap back. Here is the quarterback being flushed out of the pocket. Going to throw on the fly pattern, and it's going to be incomplete. Great coverage there. Downfield was Zarius Morgan. Pass intended downfield to Ricky Eason. Well, Al, defense looks good again here in the initial series of this game, just like they did all last week.
Yeah, they did. That's blanket coverage. That quarterback had nowhere to go, and puts him in a very difficult position now around 4th and almost 19. And, they just really look out of sync, the Blast, and my understanding was they only got here about 30 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, they were a little late getting here. And to kick it away will be DeMarcus Nash. And we see the War Eagles, they send back the very dangerous Billingsley, and also back to receive the punt will be Jay Perkins. Here's a bad snap, and now they try to throw at it, and they do throw it, and it's complete to the 10, to the 15, but he's going to be well short of a first down as the pass. The punter had nothing else to do, Hal, on a really bad snap, threw it with his left hand, and the War Eagles defense turns it over to the offense in great territory inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that looked ugly all the way around. I think that's what you yell, fire, fire, fire. And as soon as you yell fire, you've got to break on that. And they did a great job, and you're right. He threw it with his left hand, completed the pass, but the defense reacted appropriately. And, boy, just a great starting position down on the 15-yard line with them up 7-0. West Tennessee War Eagles, great field position.
Last week, a couple of chances in the first half and did not capitalize on these kind of opportunities, leading only 7-0 at the break. So, Hal, very important for this offense. You can see that Anoke was a little rusty last week, but once he got going, he was okay in the second half. Person, one of his favorite targets, out to the right. Here to the near side will be Kenya Ingram. Under center, flip it back to the running back and trying to turn it back inside and hustling down for maybe a yard. That's about it. Nice tackle there by Calvin Rooks. And carrying the ball that time was Stokes. Stokes looked pretty good last week. That was not Stokes, excuse me. That was Cole. And Cole looked pretty good last week. Antonio Cole carrying it, and how he had the 90-yard play last week on the interception return on the defensive side of it. Here is in the ball game now will be Billingsley, and out for the War Eagles will be Ingram.
Yeah, and he'll learn as he gets up with this offense. They have to burn a quick timeout, but he'll learn when that tight end knocks that block down to go on the outside of that. He tried to go inside, and there was absolutely no gain there. But he'll learn that offensive line. As soon as he learns them, if he can hit that gap on the outside, boy, he's got the Jets.
Going to keep it here again, reminding you that War Eagle football being brought to you in part by Maximum Health and Fitness, Barn Hills Buffet, UPS Print, the Hughes Agency, the Allstate Agency, Delta Faucet, Guest House Hotel, Jackson Clinic, Lenny's Sub Shop, Sports Plus, the West Tenn Examiner, Coca-Cola, and Pringles. So some of the folks in part bringing you the action. Coach Boykin out talking to the troops. Hal, you did not or are not able to hear his pregame interviews. You were setting things up on the TV side for us, but he said force some turnovers and not turn the ball over to the big keys today.
Yeah, and we've already seen the one big thing, special teams. We always talk about that early on these games. And special teams, as you and I will know throughout the years, can set the tone, and that's exactly what's happened here. You get a big 75-yard kickoff return. Now that's basically a turnover on the 4th down punt try, and so you've got two early what I consider turnovers here in this game.
Two receivers, Scott and Mood here to the near side. Far side right is Person. Backs back there as Anoke's in the shotgun. Now he'll move up under center. Now he'll come back and look over the defensive front. 2 down linemen for the Blast. Anoke throws it and miscommunication there. It looked like Person thought that pass was supposed to come to the inside. Anoke threw it out of bounds to the far side near the goal line. It's going to be now 3rd down and 10. The ball still just inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, with this big front of the Memphis Blast, what you've got to do on that play, your receiver cannot get held up, and he got held up and was totally out of sync there. This is where I love to see this ball club with all this speed on it. Hit the short passes on the outside. Give these burners a chance to get around the corners.
Brandon Shields thought it only got this hot in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where his beloved Tide plays. It is hot, folks, but a nice breeze up here up top with the canopies up here. You guys know now why I come up here. A, it's okay, and then B, you can't see anything downstairs. Well, timeout, and having to burn another timeout, Hal, and what happened there, you think?
You know, I just think it's they hadn't been able to play enough together, and this is the second quarter, timeout of this quarter, and you know that can't be good. And I know Coach Boykin cannot be happy with that.
Pringles, one of the sponsors today. If you still have time to come out, you can get a free can of chips. Hal, were you able to get yours?
You know, I did not. I left them for the fans because I don't think I need any more chips.
Well, I don't either. But it's the War Eagles. They're in the Gridiron Developmental Football League. Coach Trent Boykin, we mentioned, a graduate of Youngstown State. Lane College, he was there. Kentucky State, before that, assistant at Ball State. The War Eagles come in here today with a 1-0 record against the 0-1 Blast out of Memphis, Tennessee. As Coach Boykin still out there talking to the troops. We appreciate E+ TV 6 again. This will be replayed, by the way, Monday night at 8 o'clock. So not only at 8 o'clock on the replay locally, but on the World Wide Web at eplustv6.com as well. And WBFG, young lady that's working the board today, well, it's Molly Nayer. We appreciate her doing that. Trips to the far side this time. The setbacks behind Anoke are Cole, and Anoke's in that gun. One receiver here on the near side is Person. Here's a pass out in the flat, and well defended, though. I mean, just outstanding defense. Boy, tracking him down that time on the pass reception, that was Melvin Jones. And Ingram had no place to go, Hal, and that's going to be Frazier. Again, remember, he had a 49-yarder call back for a penalty last week because of a penalty. Hash mark right, although there's no hash mark there today. Hash mark right, and this will be, let's see where Ross sets it down. At about the 24, it'll be a 34-yarder. Well, now he's moved up a yard. Let's call it a 33-yard attempt. Hal, he had a 40-yarder that was good and a 49-yarder that was called back. Roth the holder. And let's see if Frazier can knock it through for the War Eagle lead here early. They already lead 7-0 to increase the lead. Snap back, ball down. It looks good, is it? It is good.
Oh, yeah.
Frazier can kick them, folks, and it's 10-0. Let's pause for a 30-second break. A 30-second break, and we're back up to this on the War Eagle Network.
I mean, it's not up to me. It's up to whoever.
Well, Dave McCulley and Hal Freeman, we're back with you with War Eagle football on E+ TV 6 and on WBFG 96.5. And Hal Freeman didn't get the touchdown we wanted, but the field goal increases the lead to 10-0, sir.
No, and you got to give the Memphis Blast credit. You know, they really worked hard on driving the West Tennessee War Eagles back, and everything that they threw at them, they were able to go ahead and thwart that. And so the three, you know, very fortunate to get that early 10-0 lead.
Here's the kick by Frazier. And at about the 12-yard line, the returner gets it. He's to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. And, boys, he spun down there. Nice play defensively. He'll not get credit for the tackle, but McCormick turned him back in. Then there were a host of War Eagles there. Leading the charge on the tackle was Malik Fryer. Also there for the War Eagles was Marshall Hike, who played well, I thought. He's a South Side guy you're used to.
He is, Marshall. And Marshall used to play a little quarterback at South Side.
He's a good player. Hal, I thought he played well last week.
He is a tremendous athlete. He's around 6'2". I don't know what they list him at, about 6'2", 190. And, boy, Marshall has got some burners.
Same men up front defensively. Turner, Faust, and also Vardamer. So at the 25-yard line, the Blast will have it. Second possession for them. At one of the corners, Stokes out there. And the other corner here will be Morgan. And we mentioned those linebackers earlier, and that's a good core of linebackers. Quarterback in the gun again. Throws out of the flat to the right. It's caught. To the 20, 25, 30. Running that football will be Josh Nash. He's to the 35-yard line. I think he has the first down of the game for the Blast. And how that was a well-designed offensive play.
Yeah, they caught us on the inside blitz. You know, we cheated up, came on the inside blitz. That leaves your outside wide open. and the defensive end at that time's got containment. He did not catch any containment and made for the easy first down.
He did. He got it for about 11, and the ball will be just over the 35-yard line. Hal, how much of a factor? You're an old player and played up at UK a little bit before you were injured. How much of a factor is this heat with all that equipment on today?
It's a huge factor because, you know, number one, we think these are not young kids anymore. These are young men. And, you know, they're depending on their conditioning, they're going to go probably early into the second half, and the conditioning will be just a critical factor in this ball game. You'll probably see a lot of cramping.
Yep. The officials step in, stop play for a moment, and it looks like illegal substitution, I think. Delay of game. Back to the 30-yard line, just over the 30. So it's first down still, but now it's 1st and 15. Hal and I shared some wonderful moments at this position up here with the Lameth Eagles through the years. Two receivers far side left. Low snap, but the quarterback, and there's a nice play there. 35, 40, 45, midfield into War Eagle territory, and running that football and running it well. And Hal, still those numbers are so hard to read, but that is Jermaine Chambers. And we got a flag back at the 40-yard line away from where the play went. Let's see what that's about. Ray Washington, the official that threw that flag, and you talk about a guy that's got some football pedigree. How about his son? He's headed to Alabama. And
yes, he is. He'll play immediately.
Yep, sure will. Not that the Tide needs a lot of help immediately, but we're looking forward to covering him again with TCA this year. But you folks watching around the world, it's a local high school here that has one of the great quarterbacks and all-purpose players. And Hal?
Both sides.
They get both sides personal foul, don't they?
Yeah. Little jostling early on. You're gonna see that when it's this hot. These kids, they want to get each other out of the way, and they're gonna hands all the time.
And the play stands, so it had to be a dead ball foul after the whistle, I guess.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So the ball is inside the 45-yard line. Second first down of the game for the Blast. The ball is down to the 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Two receivers far side left again. Receiver here, a big guy here to the right. Ashley doubles here too. Quarterback in the gun. That will again be Melvin Jones. Here's a low snap. He leaves it on the ground, then has to pick it up, and he's hit back behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 4 back to about the 47-yard line.
Yeah, he never got that snap. The snap was right at his ankles. He tried to pick it up instead of going straight down on it, and almost cost him the ball.
Faust will be credited for the sack there. Big Larry Faust, 5'10", 300-pounder from Haywood County High School from Brownsville. They've had some good players over there through the years, haven't they, Hal?
Boy, they have. Haywood County puts out some tremendous athletes.
Talk about a good athlete. How about these two characters right to your right? They're great players here at Lameth.
Yeah, they were. Great players right here.
Peyton, one of the great linebackers in the nation. Here is the quarterback again in that gun. Dropping back, rolling. Here to the right now, directing traffic. Now he's going to keep it and try to run. He's going to dart out of bounds. Good play there, knocking him out of bounds for the War Eagles. And a nice play by the linebacker there, Terry Franklin. Bug Luster had a little bit of piece of the helmet on his body as well. So after 2 successful plays, a pass and a run, the War Eagle defense stepping up. They haven't allowed a point all year, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 13.5 yards. Ball back, well, let's call it 3rd and 14. The ball back to the 47. 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Clock arrested after he went out of bounds. Hal, it has to be rough on everybody, but look at Big Faust here. It's got to be really tough on the big guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and you can already see they're kind of walking up in the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be a difficult day for every one of them.
Here's the snap to the quarterback of the gun. There's Chambers again. Bang! He's in at the 45 and driven backwards there. Nothing at all. Wrapping him up, Jermaine Harris, the linebacker, 6 foot 240 from Miami. And that didn't go anywhere, and it's 4th now and about, well, he may have got a yard or two. Let's call it 4th and 12, Hal. The ball just short of the 45-yard line.
Yeah, much better job by the defense getting into the gaps and really shutting the big running back down.
Hal, your thoughts in your first chance to see the War Eagles, your thoughts about the color scheme of the uniforms?
Hey, I like the uniforms. I tell you what, they're very colorful. It looks good. I think it represents Jackson, Tennessee well, and you know, it's good to see this ball club in the Gridiron Football League here.
So an Auburn look, isn't it? In a way, that orange and the blue and white. Here's a punt that will sell inside the 15-yard line, be down to about the 13-yard line. That was not textbook punting, but it wound up being okay.
Yeah, it was not a textbook, but boy, it's one of those that just kind of drops inside the 15. It did exactly what they need.
32-yard punt, excuse me.
Yeah, they need field position. That worked out good for them.
So the War Eagles will have to 13. Howard, good to be back with you on E+ TV6. All the home games will be on E+, and all the radio games on WBFG.
And here's all the kids' names. We got Kim Brower, producer, director. We got Ellie James on the camera. Autumn King on the camera right now. Rochelle Jones helping us out. Nathan Miles and David Smith. So we got the whole crew out today helping us out.
All right, we get ready. It's going to be 1st and 10. The ball at the 13. Anoke in the gun. Doubles each way. One lone set back here with him. He looks into the near side and bad pass. Threw that one well over the head of Kenya Ingram. You can tell the offense still not there yet, can't you help?
Yeah, they're just, the timing is just not there. You really, and I don't know how their preseason works, but I know they did preseason games and they had like 3 weeks off to get ready. And without that live football, it's really difficult to get in sync.
Kenny Coleman from Jackson Northside comes in the game, and he replaces Antonio Cole, the running back from Lane College. Far side right this time will be Ryan Scott. Scott had a good game last week. He played for the Lafayette Wildcatters last week. Two receivers to the near side.
Got to hurry up and get it off.
Sure do. Down to 1 second, and
third
they
timeout.
Have to call another timeout. My goodness. Oh boy. Why would they call a timeout there?
I don't know. That's a huge mistake on their part.
Certainly the case. Let's just keep it here, reminding you, too, that the War Eagles are launching their first athletic daycare at Target Sports Fitness. Lord knows Hal and I both need to be at this ourselves, but your child gets to select his or her sport preference to be trained by a professional all summer long. The summer program is for ages 6 through 17 years of age. The fee is $80 per week, and your child can select either football, baseball, soccer, basketball, or a multi-sport. Whichever sport your child selects, he or she will have fun, and most importantly, a summer full of fitness. The War Eagles office will take your call about the info there, 736-2500, Hal Freeman.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you and I could use a little bit of daycare.
Well, we're both okay, though. Our wives think so anyway. Two receivers each way. 8:03 left here in the first. 10-0 your score. Anoke in the gun again. Doubles each way, puts a man in motion, moved here to the near side. He'll hand it off to the running back, though, and nothing there at all. I mean, absolutely nothing. And he was lucky. He did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Hal, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Back to about the 12-yard line. It's going to be third down and about 13 yards. That's a loss of 3 yards.
And now West Tennessee War Eagles look like they're a little bit out of sync after getting that early good start. And that's where those special teams and things like that in a game like this are going to play, because you do not know how your offense and defense are going to sync up.
Not a big crowd, but a good crowd here today to watch the War Eagles in their inaugural game here at LL Fonville Field. Doubles again, Mood and Scott, far side right. Here the near side will be Person. He's joined here in the slot by Ingram. And an okay on the third down and 12.5. They flush him out of the pocket. They've got him pinned back near the goal line. Oh, my. That was almost a safety. He was lucky that he's down at the 1-yard line, and that will bring Roth out to punt the ball.
Yeah, that's very lucky. He barely got out of the end zone.
The Butler's in the house. Jimmy Butler behind us here. So Hal, almost a safety, 1-yard line, and Roth doesn't have a lot of room, does he?
No, he doesn't. He needs to just punch this one out and put it back on the defense.
Last week, averaged right at 38.5, almost 39 yards. And there's some rough conditions, too. It started raining right when the game began down there, and it was a rough first quarter for both teams. Hal, if he takes one step backward, he's out of the back of the end zone, isn't it?
Yeah, they're going to try to come after this one. They've got everybody up tight.
10-0, but the blast, well, that's a good punt by Roth.
Huge.
And that needs a good roll by the War Eagles, but it sails out of bounds at about the 43-yard line.
That's a great punt.
Under the circumstances, not bad, and now a flag back in the end zone. Let's see what that's about. The reaction, Roth, he thinks Howlett was right back where he punted the ball from. It may be, no, it's illegal motion.
They'll make him re-kick that too.
The way Roth was reacting, I think he thought it was against the blast. Yeah, I'd make him kick it again, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely, because that was a great punt to get it on the 41-yard line. I'd definitely make him re-punt that.
So?
No, I guess he just doesn't feel like he needs it.
No, 42-yard line, so the blast will have it. at the 42. And Hal, again, you alluded to this, not a bad punt by the young man at all.
No, it's not. Considering you're right, his back heels are out on right on the back of the end zone, and he gets that kick out. And on top of that, he angles it out of bounds at the 41.
43-yard lines where they mark it. So it's going to be 1st and 10 there for the Blast. They haven't been able to get much going. They had 2 first downs, 1 on a pass and 1 on a nice run. Quarterback again will be Jones. Trips to the near side, 1 receiver far side left, that being Antoine Brown. They throw it out here in the flat. It's caught and then hit immediately. Anthony Kaiser caught the ball, and he was hit, and how that's a loss of 4 or 5 yards, and a great play by a host of War Eagles leading the charge. Keith Wardlow there.
Yeah, Keith Wardlow came and looked like he was shot out of a cannon there.
Wardlow is a very familiar name for you folks in Humboldt because that's been some Wardlows that's played football and basketball both up there that's been awfully good.
Yeah, we've seen a ton of Wardlows come out of that area.
A loss of about 4 yards. Let's call it 2nd and 14. Ball back to the 46. Receiver here to the near side, or 2 actually doubles each way. And the quarterback being pursued, flushed out of the pocket, and now he's going to tuck it and run. He's going to get positive yards to the 40. He's still on his feet to the 39-yard line, tried to sidestep his way, and then Jeremiah Bullock got him and pinned him, but that's a nice run, and he gets the 4 yards they lost and a couple more, so it's going to be 3rd down and 8. How I look out there and I see those yellow socks and then yellow shoes, you think there's a flag after each play, don't you?
That's a great point. I've looked at it twice, and I said, I'm seeing something, but you're exactly right. 2 of the kids have got those yellow socks on and then the spat type socks on. It looks like flags.
Ball just inside the 40-yard line, 3rd down and 8 for the Blast against your War Eagles. 2 running backs right back here with the quarterback, 2 receivers far side left. Here's the snap. They'll hand it off and running it and then being hit, and nothing there for Antoine Brown. He juked to his left, came back and juked to his right, and there were a host of War Eagles waiting on him, and the guy leading the charge again, Jeremiah Bullock, and also into the stop was number 17, Jermaine Harris. And let's give credit to Morgan too, Hal. So it's 4th down.
Yeah, Jermaine Harris, he's that linebacker out of Miami, Florida. He looks really good. He's been very active and really gets across all the way across the field. Good lateral movement both sides.
6 foot, 240 from Miami. And the Blast will kick it away. Back to receive it will be Perkins. He had a really nice punt return last week, Hal, that got us a 34-yard punt return that got us bound down to the 6 of the Predators. And then Norque punched it in later. Another timeout, but we're going to keep it here. And out this time to punt it is Pope from Memphis. And let's keep it here at Howell, the 10-0 lead, and really got a good break because the punt by Roth was just good enough that it set them back, and they had great field position, but the defense holds again.
Yeah, and this first quarter has taken forever. We still have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. Both teams have taken almost all their timeouts, and this second quarter is going to be fast.
I don't want to hear anything out of you about the first quarter. Last week I did the game by myself. It might have been one of the longest quarters in football history. I will tell you this, if it makes you feel better, the second quarter went by much quicker.
Yeah.
We have Molly Nyer, our producer director on the radio side, and Hal, let's get those names into the kids again on the TV side that's helping us out.
We got a good crew here today, and it's always, a pleasure when you get all these kids that want to come out and want to help us out. And see if I've got everybody here. Here we go.
All right, we'll work that in after the punt. Pope about to punt it away from midfield. And it's blocked. A great block there, and now the ball is loose. The guy that got a hand on that blocked that punt attempt was Sean McCormick. McCormick got a hand on it, a scramble for the football, and the War Eagle defense looks as good as you'll see any defense in the country right now, and great turnover there. The ball at the 47-yard line, make it 48-yard line of the Blast, Hal.
Yeah, and you know what? They just came through there. And you think about it, just a few minutes ago, they were down inside the 1-yard line, not looking really good. We get a great punt. We get the 4 downs and out, and you're able to block that. That is a tremendous change of field position. Once again, just like a turnover. That's number 3. That's what I consider number 3.
And taking nothing away from our defense, that snap is like a flutter ball, a butterfly going back to the punter. Here's the pitch back, and I mean nothing. You see mouthpieces falling out of there and being knocked out. Antonio Cole hit behind the line of scrimmage, And this thing is settling into a defensive battle right now with the War Eagles leading 10-0. That a loss of about 4 yards back to the 49-yard line, 2nd and 14.
Yeah, and one thing you don't have the coaches up here in the box. So all the coaches are on the field. What the coaches have got to realize now, they've tried that, try to go misdirection. You've got to do something to cut down the speed. Both these teams, the Blast and the War Eagles, have a lot of team speed.
Brian Moyer is the public address announcer down below, doing a great job. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 receiver far side right. The running back is Coleman this time back there with Anoke. Throws it out here in the flat. It's caught. Person caught it and jukes and breaks away and very close to the first down inside the 40. Let's see where they mark it. If he puts it down with his right foot, it's going to be a first down. He puts it down with his left foot, and let's wait and see. Very close. Person, not only a good catch there on the little pattern out here in the flat, but Howley really did a good job making the first guy miss. I think he's going to be about a football length short.
Yeah, about a half yard, and this is one where those big hosses have got to get in there and say, look, I can get you a half yard. Just give me the ball and let us go. 3rd
down at about a yard just inside the 40 of the Memphis Blast. Anoke and the gang have something going now. In the shotgun, wide open. Here's Scott catching it. Scott knocked out of bounds by Shabazz, Raheem Shabazz, but not before West Tenn War Eagle. First down inside the 30.
Yeah, tremendous play. They think they're going to get the run. They get the little quick out, and just a great job of getting upfield. Now the War Eagles look like they're getting into a little bit of a rhythm. Noke is really looking better with his passes, right on the money. And if he can hit those quick outs, they can get, these receivers are quick enough, they can get that downfield yardage.
First down at the 31-yard line for the War Eagles. Anoke back there, and he hands it off this time to the running back and ducking his head, getting a couple of yards. Running it is Cole inside the 30, maybe to the 29. Let's give him 2. 2nd out of 8.
Yeah, just straight up the middle. And, you know, this is that point in the game. You already alluded to it. You know, how's that heat going to affect them? Well, you already see them hands on the hips. They're, you know, down on knees. And this is a time where you got to have fresh bodies. And when I look across there, the Memphis Blast, there's not but about 10 or 12 additional players on that sideline. So there's not going to be a lot of help in and out. There's not going to be a lot of packages coming in to help you out.
Yeah, the Sports Plus folks doing a great job. I'm looking at some of the trainers down here with the wet towels draped around. They're working on Terry Franklin. He seems to be okay, but they're working around his neck area there. Anoke under center this time. Only got about a yard that time. Here's the reverse, and Mood has got to be caught back there, and about big loss all the way back to the 42-yard line. How that didn't fool him a bit. No. Mood had nowhere to go.
I like the play. I like the misdirection, but, boy, they just have got to work on their blocking schemes. The defensive end came off that corner. He was unblocked, and he is fast.
Chris Covington, the big left guard, he was having a chat with big Leonard Bolton that time. Bolton said, big guy, you hot? And I guarantee you the big guy, Covington, said, nah, not a bit. It's got to be tough. That offensive line, of course, by the way, we haven't mentioned those folks. Chase Watkins, the left tackle. Mike Miles, the right tackle. Right guard is Newton. Left guard is Covington. The center is big Chris Graves. And now another timeout. Well, we're going to keep it here again. Let's send it back, though. Let's take it back for a 30. You're watching and listening on the War Eagle Network. Back up to this 30. Stay with us.
Back here at LL Fonville Field, Hal Freeman, Diamond Dave McCulley, where the Memphis Blast has gotten a little bit of a hole here with 12 and a half seconds left. Our West Tennessee War Eagles lead this ball game 10-0. And Dave, I want to go over one more time the kids that are helping us out today, because we have got some really good kids. We've got Kim Bauer out here helping us out, David, Ellie James. We've got, let's see, I'm missing 2 other kids here. We've got all our kids, and I'll get them in there in a minute. I've lost all my notes there, but here comes our West Tennessee War Eagles back on the field.
You take them with all your computers. Hal's got computers for computers. He does a great job.
Computers.
Yep.
They don't do me any good when I can't find anything.
3rd down and 17 after the big loss. Okay, in the gun. over the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Got a man open. Moon is going to be picked off. Overshot his intended receiver. It's picked off by Arnold. He's to the 30, 35, 40, 45, and he's still on his feet to the midfield stripe. Couple men to beat, and finally he's knocked down by Ryan Scott at the 40-yard line. That's going to come back. The interception's going to stand, but the return's going to come back because we got an illegal block in the back at the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
Anoke just overshot his open receiver.
Had him dead to rights, and boy, what a lick Ryan Scott put on to let him know, here I am, and I don't care if you intercepted that ball. Oh, my goodness gracious. He felt like he was a defensive back again.
And how we alluded to a moment ago, it has turned into a defensive battle now. That's going to end your first quarter. And the War Eagles are going to lead this game 10-0. And that is going to end the first quarter, or can it? Yeah, it can end like that. And we're going to take a quick break. Let's take a 1-minute break along the line. You're watching and listening on the War Eagle Network. Stay with us.
Back here at L.L. Fonville Field, where the homestanding West Tennessee War Eagles lead the Memphis Blast 10-0 after the first quarter, and we have a little entertainment down here by Trinity Crumby and the gang down here, and that's the great thing about these games. They're going to have a little bit of entertainment in between the quarters. Diamond Dave, Hal Freeman here, and the whole crew of the E-Plus TV6, Kim Bauer, Ellie James, Autumn King, Rochelle Jones, Nathan Miles, and David Smith on our cameras today, all students at Lambeth University.
Yeah, those youngsters do a great job not only today and with our home games here with the War Eagles, but been a pleasure working with them through the years here at Lambeth University. And Al, it's always tough to see those kids go, but some of them are graduating now and moving on to the other adventures in life, and we wish them the very best. I was a little smart today, Hal. You noticed, and I'll try to share it with you from time to time, but Miss Peggy loaded my little thing up here today.
You know, your wife takes such good care of you. I wish I had that. Oh, Miss Freeman's listening.
Big hello to Teresa as well. Here's the handoff. Nothing there at all, and I think we're going to have a face mask. Yep. Oh, my goodness, Hal, we didn't need that. We made a great stop. As carrying the ball that time was Anthony Kaiser, and then 3 War Eagles had him. I'm not sure which one stuck a hand in there, but it was a proper call.
Yeah, that's automatic, and that's 15 yards. There's no more of the 5-yard variety, so that's a big, big penalty. Had him stopped, didn't have to get the hand up in there, and they did.
You mentioned a guy when we first came on today that we'd be remiss not to mention, and, of course, Kerry Mallard and the gang over at ESPN Radio. I listen to good buddies of ours, Jim Steele and Matt Swinney. I will listen to them every afternoon. They do a great job over there from 4 to 6. But certainly Kerry Mallard and the great job that they do at ESPN Radio here in the West Tennessee area. But how about Sam Turner at E-Plus TV6 putting all of this together for us? 4 receivers far side right. Quarterback.
Oh.
And he hits Kaiser, and then he's hit immediately. What a big play there.
Wow.
Great play by Jeremiah Bullock.
You know, and that play looked like it was going to develop very quickly. And, boy, the West Tennessee War Eagles, all the way back to your defensive backs, are doing a tremendous job with penetration.
Yeah, 3 blockers in front of him, too, Al, because there was 4 receivers out there, and they threw it to the trailing receiver, didn't they?
Yeah, they really are doing a great job, and this has turned into nothing but a defensive battle.
Second down and about 15.5 yards. Quarterback again in the gun is Jones. Being flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run it, and he's not going to get much. He got a couple yards back that they lost up to the 40. And the official, you see Ray Washington saying ball down as it popped out, saying the runner was down. And it's going to be 3rd down now at about 12.
Wow. you know, these big guys, they're just lumbering right now. But at least I like what the coach is doing. He's at least trying to get one or two in, trying to come over here, getting them cooled on their necks, and at least keeping a couple of fresh in every play. And that's making a huge difference in this game.
It is. Great point, Hal. Good analogy there. Coach Borkin alluded to that in the interview that you weren't able to hear. He says one of the strengths of this team is they're pretty deep along that defensive line and the linebackers, and it's a really good defense. Jones, again, the quarterback in the gun, trips to the near side, one receiver far side right, short side of the field. Hash mark right, he looks. He wants to throw out of the gun. Still looking. A little pass out there, a nice catch, and then a really nice play there moving up to midfield. Think he's going to be a little short, though. They say he stepped out of bounds. He had to get to the 48-yard line of the War Eagles, and a tough break there as the ball was caught by Chambers, and then he had a foot on the sideline at about the 48.
And they're after Ray Washington over there. They're giving Ray a hard time.
I don't think they thought he was out of bounds.
No, they're still in his ear over there talking to him.
And Ray's saying, hey, have you ever heard of my son, Jabril? And the ball will be at the 47. Actually, they marked him out of bounds sooner than I thought they did. So Ray said he stepped out of bounds at about the 47.
Ray's a banker. He says, look, come get a loan from me and
That's
maybe
right.
I'll listen to you.
That's exactly right. It's 4th and about 6, and now some confusion. The Blast thought it was 3rd down, Hal, and it's 4th down and 6.
They don't have any more timeouts.
They sure don't.
That's got to be a delay game.
Let's wait and see here.
Yeah, you got to take that back.
It is going to be a delay of game. It's going to cost them 5 yards, which really doesn't hurt them that badly on a punt attempt here.
No, I'd rather take that than if I'm right, it's unsportsmanlike if you take the timeout.
This is Pope, the punter. They list him as a tight end and as a linebacker. He's 6'2", 240. Jarquez Pope from Memphis. Most of the youngsters on this team are from see how that high floating snap is getting him in trouble. Here's the punt. It's going to be gathered in by Perkins. Perkins drops it at the 18. He's to the 20. To the near side to the 25. Perkins to the 30. A great block and then a great tackle.
Oh, that's not a flag.
And then a super tackle there.
That's not a flag.
I didn't think so either.
He
Let's
got
wait
his head
and see.
in front.
And that tackle, Hal, by a young man that we don't have a number on, and I apologize. We have his. Well, he's got a number. We don't have his name or number on our roster.
That official looked at that forever.
There's a flag back here at the 40.
That's not a flag, though. Now, on that block, that's not a flag. Can't be.
Yep, and let's wait and see. The ball right now would rest back about the 33 or 4 yard line.
Both of them are on us.
Let's see what the official says. Offsides.
Yeah, they'll take this one.
Yep. And then an illegal block in the back. The penalty will be on the War Eagles, and they will accept that illegal block. You thought it was a bad call, Hal?
Yeah, you know, he had his head in front, and the official looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and then pulled the flag. And, you know, maybe he felt like he didn't get that head in front. But, boy, you know, that's going to take us back, and that punt was very effective. That's going to take us inside the 20-yard line.
How the way this thing's turned into a defensive battle, how big is that 75-yard kickoff return by Mood to open up the game?
That's huge, and that's why I said special teams, and you consider that a turnover at this point, and the War Eagles are winning the game strictly on special teams and turnovers.
Ball now back to the 18-yard line. It's 1st and 10. Well, they say at 19, so we'll mark it there at the 19. And okay, with backs in the eye for the first time today, receivers each way. Under center, he'll hand it to his fullback, galloping and romping his way through the line of scrimmage to the 25, to the 26, 27, 28. And Chase Watkins, the big left tackle, enjoyed that play as he sprung one of the blocks. Mike Miles being helped up as well. And the big fullback lumbering his way to the 29. Hal, that's a pickup of about 9 yards.
I'll tell you what, when he got through there, he kept those legs churning and looked like a little bit like Bruiser Stallings coming through there.
Yep. Former Lameth player that was an outstanding player here, Hugh Freeze in the game. Now doubles hit to the near side, short side of the field, the home side, one receiver far side left. 2nd down and less than a yard. Ball up near the 34-yard line. Hand off this time, and I mean nothing for Cole. He was wrapped up pretty efficiently, and Hal, that's just a great defensive play by the Blast.
Yeah, and boy, they just saw it coming, and you know, as soon as you sniff that out, it makes it that much easier. And that's one of those, all you got to do is get a yard. Now it puts you in that third and long 2, 3. And, you know, I like that short pass. And OK has been able to hit that short pass. I like getting that out of the corners and letting those big receivers get down the sidelines.
I thought maybe, Hal, with that formation, you might see try to go up top on a second and short yards or less than a yard and maybe try to get something up top and then come back with a run if you didn't get it here.
Yeah, that would have been outstanding.
One receiver here the near side. Here's the pitch back, sweeping the left end, 30, 35. He's got the first down, and carrying the ball will be Kenny Coleman. He's to the 35-yard line and across the 35 and up to about the 38 or 9. It is a War Eagle first down.
Yeah, and once he broke containment, that is some great blocking by that big offensive line. And, boy, he turns on the jets around the corner. Dave, early on, I'm very impressed by this War Eagle speed. I don't know about the rest of the league, but obviously you've already seen one of the ball games. But this crew has got some tremendous team speed.
Well, the Predators last week were very, very good defensively. 21-0, but the scores did not come easy. Anoke in the gun. Throws out here in the flat. Mood. 40. Mood. Hit at the 40. Falls forward to about the 43 or 4-yard line. Nice play defensively by two guys. Again, we apologize. We don't have 13 or 20's names. They changed the roster on us just yesterday, but General Manager Ken Williams called and told me that they changed the roster, but they changed it again apparently. Second down and about 6, a pickup of 4.
And I like what they're doing. The short passes are effective because these backs are playing off about a good 8-10 yards now. Now they're creeping up a little bit.
Person here the near side,
yeah,
Perkins
illegal.
far side left, and yep.
Yeah, coming back 5 yards.
So instead of second down and 6, it's going to be second and about 11 now. Someone moving there, Hal.
Yeah, you got two moving at the same time on the receivers. You cannot do that. And that, once again, is just the fact that they have not had enough time to play together and be with this quarterback, be with this line. That's going to be okay with repetitions.
We mentioned two guys that's on at ESPN Radio every afternoon, 4 to 6. Big hello to Matt and Jim. They do a great job up there. The Man of Steel is a Reds fan, and Matt's a big Braves fan. I have forgiven him for that. Backs in the eye this time. Anoke under center. Second down at about 11. Anoke drops back. Plenty of protection. Rolling here to the near side. Still getting some protection. Now throws, and it's incomplete.
They got us holding over here. That's coming back.
Person, the intended receiver, Anoke telling him to come back. Offensive line did a great job protecting Hal, but good coverage downfield and maybe too good at blocking. You said hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah, 79. He just took tackle. He bear hugged, which is one of my favorite moves.
Big Chris Covington, the 6-foot youngster, the 300-pounder from Stanton, Tennessee, played his ball at Haywood. It is holding, and how we had it, remember, the first down at the 39-yard line. It was first and 10 there, and now it's going to be second down again, but it's going to be second and about 20 yards. Well, let's see. It's going to be about second and about, well, we got to get to the 48. It's going to be about second and about 18.
Yeah.
Receiver far side left is Person. Here the near side again is Perkins. In the slot, 2 with him is Ingram. Cole is the one lone setback. Some confusion now. Now Anoke has to call a timeout.
Doesn't have any. It's going to be, yeah.
No timeouts left. Oh, my. Coach Boykin can't be happy about that. Coach Boykin and Dexter Anoke talking about it. He's a great talent, no doubt about it, but he's learning the system. And only been here a week or two. Hal, I was by the War Eagle office the other day on Federal Drive, and he was in there watching some films. Had a chance to visit with him just briefly. Hal, it's second and 23 now.
Yeah, on this, they have not tried a screen yet because of the quickness, but I'd love to see them get a screen out here, get it to your playmaker, see if you can get somebody upfield.
Well, Cricker played second quarter. I told you it would be 7:35 left. Anoke in the gun. Rolling, and being hit, now having to just throw it out of bounds. Good play there as they had people all in on him, and a great defensive play by John Martinez, the linebacker from Memphis. He was right in Anoke's face, and he had to throw it away, and Hal probably made a good decision there.
Yeah, and you can see that, boy, he is just scrambling for his life. His hands are on his hips, and he's a little bit frustrated.
So it's going to be third down and 23. The ball all the way back to the 24. We had it 1st and 10 up at about the 38, 39-yard line, and we've gone backwards ever since. Not a huge crowd, but Hal, quite a few folks right below us here.
Yeah, I'd say you maybe have 300-400 here today, and that's a pretty good crowd to start off the inaugural season.
Especially in this heat. And now a delay of game, I think. Oh, my. Well, folks, I wish I could tell you something different, but we're going backwards right now. That means that Rolf's going to have to lumber that leg up here in a second. Get it limber and get a good punt away. He's certainly capable of that. Back to the 19, where it's now 3rd and 28.
This is where when they have it in, these guys need to be ready to go. They need to be ready to go and take advantage of that. They're kind of lumbering up the line, and here they are. They're not even – they get up, not even get set till it's about 10 seconds. That's tough.
All right, doubles here to the near side. One receiver far side left. You know they're going to come after an Orke. Over the middle. Nice play there as he catches Person. Person's caught, though, at about the 28-yard line. So that gets some of the yardage back, about 10 of it anyway. And it's 4th now and 18.
And that was a good play. All you got to do is spread your receivers, go to the middle, take what you can get, and at least you got some of that yardage back, and it puts you in a decent place to give your punter something. Now, special teams, we've talked about them all the first quarter and second quarter. Watch this punt, because this is where you see some of your more exciting plays, especially in minor league football.
Roth in to punt it. Shabazz back there to receive it and standing inside his own 40. Good snap. Roth, a nice punt. Shabazz will let it roll. And boy, what a great punt this is going to wind up being down inside the 20. It's going to be all the way down to the 19-yard line, Hal.
That's a tremendous punt. Yeah.
I've got a 51-yard punt there. We'll double check.
Yeah, 51-yarder it's got to be.
Yep, that is a 51-yard punt by Luke Roth.
Yeah, tremendous punt. And, you know, you just can't beat it, especially if you had all those mistakes.
Why would Shabazz not call for the fair catch there?
Yeah, you got to catch that when it go.
I mean, Roth got about 10 extra yards on the roll after it hit, didn't he?
Oh, he sure did. How about this? You see the War Eagles ladies. Have you been able to meet them yet?
No, I've not met them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have South Seabass here from 101.5 WNWS. They do the Trent Boykin show on that station, as well as he's on 96.5 as well. So we appreciate all the media coverage. Brandon Shields has got the longest phone call going to mankind out of my left. He's talking to his agents, what he's doing.
He's out there working on his tan.
Bill Sorrell is here with us as well. Bill's got some big announcements coming up this summer.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a great play. Outstanding rush that time by Marcus Clark from Jackson Central Mary, and he sacks the quarterback back inside near the 15-yard line.
Seen that a lot. Marcus Clark was a tremendous talent here at JCM, and, boy, he came off that end like he was exploded out of a cannon, and great play.
Out covering TCA through the years, I didn't get a chance to see Southside and Northside and JCM as much as you did. You attend all the Southside games, but he had a great career over there.
Oh, he really did, and I love watching all these athletes, because you're right. Do get to see a lot of Northside, a lot of Liberty games, JCM and Southside, and see a lot of these kids, and it's just great to see them out here trying to continue and further their careers. Yep,
looking for that call maybe to the big leagues. Here's a handoff to the inside running back. Nothing there at all. Again, that interior line just doing a great job. Looked like Anthony Eccles in on the stop that time. He's in the ball game. He played at JCM.
Yeah, the local flavor is tremendous, and that's what excites me so much about the opportunity these kids are giving. Ken Williams and Trent Boykin are giving these kids an opportunity to showcase that talent.
3rd down and 12, Eccles. We mentioned a moment ago, he's 6'1", 250 here from Jackson. And the former Cougar, and we've got one of the players for the Blast shaken up across the way. And they'll have to get a reserve in for him. 4:22, clock running, and it has been a quicker second quarter.
Yeah, it has been, and it's helped because nobody has any timeouts now. All they're going to have to do at this point is take delay of games.
3rd down and actually about 14 yards. And the officials have stopped the clock, or wanting it stopped at 4:07.
An injury.
Because of that injury, and the clock kept running. Now they stop it at 4:07. Coach Boykin walking down the sidelines here, talking to Jay Perkins and Kenya Ingram, saying, guys, get ready to get back in there. For the most part, the kids, the young men for both teams have held up under this heat today. And now timeout as Coach Hardigree's talking to his defensive troops. Jim, a former player at UTM, with Mickey Marley. former coach at JCM, and great assistant out there with Mickey Marley at USJ right now. No one knows the defense any better than Jim Hardigrave.
And that's got to be an official's timeout because both these ball clubs are out of timeout.
Yep, that is the case. And probably some of the most important people here today, well, not just probably, but some of the most important people every game, but especially today, the folks from Sports Plus.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you just never know the value of the Sports Plus people and what they do behind the scenes every day.
Our first minute, or our first break, I should say, at halftime, Molly, will be 2 minutes, and we'll let the folks at TV know that as well. E Plus TV 6 covering the home games live and on a tape-delayed basis. And then, of course, ESPN Radio out of Lexington. Kerry Mallard in the game, 96.5 WBFG, the radio outlet for you for War Eagle football this year. Well, after all of that, it's 3rd and 14. Quarterback being flushed out of that pocket. Here he comes straight back up the gut again, but he's going to be wrapped up, and that's Jones as he scrambles back to the original line of scrimmage, plus 3 or 4 more yards, but then he's hit there. In on the stop, Malik Fryer. He's a Southside young man.
Yeah, he is. You know, it's great to see all these kids, local talent, and they're going to let that clock run all the way down, I'm sure, at this point, because they're taking their sweet time. I guarantee you, Dave, you watch, this will be a delay game.
How do you get the feeling, too, especially for the blast across the way, do you get the feeling just watching them walk off that the heat's really beginning to affect them now more than I think we originally thought?
Oh, absolutely, because you look at, they're not even on the field now. 5 seconds left, and if they get this thing off, it'll be, 1 second left, they get it off.
Pope gets it away, and it's going to be gathered in by Perkins. Perkins, 40, 45,
good block.
Midfield, 45, 40, Perkins, 35. He can take them back, folks. He's inside the 35-yard line. We mentioned Jay Perkins last week, 34-yard punt return that set up the Anoke touchdown. That was the last score of that game, and Hal, he did a great job there bringing that one back about 30 yards.
Now, where's Jay Perkins from?
Jay Perkins is from
Jackson, right here in Jackson.
He's from Jackson, Tennessee, played at JCM.
Another Jay. I thought that name sounded familiar. Yeah.
We're actually going to give him, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26-yard punt return on that one by Perkins. So at 3:11 left here, big offensive line. You got to admire them, folks. They're still out there. There's Aaron Newton out there, the big right guard.
Yeah, they don't have the right personnel again.
Yep. A little bit of confusion again, but let's see if the Warriors can straighten it out, and I think they do. 2 receivers here to the near side. A score here would be huge. Anorke's going to run out of that shotgun. That's actually not Anorke. That's Mood running out of the shotgun. He's inside the 35-yard line. He'll scramble for about 4 yards down near the 31, walking down to 32. So let's give him 3, 2nd down and 7. Yeah. Mood carrying at that time.
And this could be, that was a direct snap because
right.
I don't think Anoke's in the game right now.
Yeah, he's coming in. You're exactly right. Mood wears number 8, and Anorke wears number 7. Mood is a very, very fine athlete as well. 2nd and 7. And far side left, and now we've got one of the blasts. Looks like he's shaken up. That's Calvin Rooks. He's going to go out of the game. And coming in for him very quickly will be number 44. No name with that number as well. And now we have a flag, and I think illegal substitution. No, it's illegal motion.
Out of sync. That's at least the 5th or 6th one of this half, and they're all looking at each other. And, you know, it's frustrating because you know it's hard to fix over halftime. And this is very difficult when it's a hot day. You know that the coach is going to work on that. Yeah,
Trent just shakes his head and walks back to midfield. He's not really happy at all right now. Anorke under center, hands it off. Not anything there for Cole. He did not get back to the line of scrimmage. It was 2nd and 12. And now it's going to be 2nd and about 14. Or make it 3rd and 14, excuse me.
And see, this is a place in the game with 1 minute and 47 seconds left in this second quarter. You have a chance to throw the ball down the field. I like the fact that they're trying to get in field goal position, but now that you've lost yardage, you got to throw the ball down the field.
And remember, too, how when we had it 1st and 10 at their 15, had to settle for a field goal, and you just can't let opportunities sneak by you like this because it's just a 10-0 game. The bottom line is the score, they're right back in it. Anorke in the gun. 3rd at about 13, and a nice pass, but it's dropped.
Oh, I like that.
Scott, it might have been thrown a tad behind him, but Ryan would be the first to tell you should have caught that ball down the 30.
Should have caught it and took a big hit, but now that's one of those where now you don't have any timeouts. You just want to kick it down there, get it as close as you can, and try to run this clock out.
Well, Frazier's coming in, Hal, to attempt a field goal.
And
this
the wind's
will be
against him.
55-yard field goal attempt. They mark it at the 45, and he's going to try one from 55 yards.
And they don't bring anybody back because they could run this back.
A minute 18. Can Frazier do it? A 55-yard hash mark right attempt by the former Bethel Wildcat. Snap back, ball down, kick up. It's a low kick, and it's going to be good! Unbelievable!
Oh my goodness!
A 55-yard field goal by Sean Frazier, folks.
Oh yeah! Wow, that ball looked like a knuckleball, just barely went over. That is tremendous.
And I wanted to use this line last week, never used it. Let me use it. Down goes Frazier in the Gridiron Developmental Record Book.
Wow! Yeah. 55-yarder. They're pumped up.
I thought it was going to run out of gas, and it carried that. It went through about a good 5 yards to spare.
Well, the wind's swirling a little bit, and the wind kind of knocked it down. But boy, it's kind of like in golf when you get a little hot weather, it got that little extra. And feel that wind's kind of swirling right now. But boy, that's tremendous. That is tremendous.
Well, Coach Dino Cackless, the very fine Bethel coach, came into my office this week, Hal, and asked me, how did Rolfe, McCormick, and Frazier look? And I said they all look great. And today, Frazier goes in the record book.
Yeah, he's looking really good. 2 field goals and an extra point. He's 6 of the 13 points up there right now.
Well, John Bass and Evan Grenier had the record here. They hold the record here for college at both 52 yards. That is the longest field goal in LL Farmville history.
Wow, that's a great point, yeah. I'm sorry, he's got 7 points with the extra point, so he's 7 of the 13.
13-0. What a kick. Frazier boots this one down there. It's going to be gathered in at about the 12-yard line. 15, 20, running back to the 25 to the 30, the returner, I should say. Bringing it back was Arnold, and he's going to be hit at about the 30-yard line. Well, Frazier is in the record books for a 55-yard field goal, and I, again, was about to just on the tip of my tongue say it's going to run out of gas at the last second, and it just kept going. Luke Ross still talking to him down here. Look at that.
That extra gear.
13-0. Yeah, he accounted last week, Hal. Again, we told you he had the 49-yarder brought back because of a penalty, had the 40-yarder that was good, and now a 55-yard facility record anyway, field goal today.
That is a weapon right there, a tremendous leg.
30-yard line, so it's 13-0. The War Eagles have outscored their opponents 34-0 to open up this season. 21-0 last week, and now 13-0 here. Quarterback in the gun, looks left, now rolls right, still looking, going to run out of room. He's going to be hit. Nice play defensively by Jermaine Harris, who knocked him out of bounds.
Just a tremendous job of this defense. They have blanket coverage, and that's all they're doing now. They're dropping back in that zone, and there's nowhere for them to throw the ball to.
Folks, I know it's hot, but I know that's held our crowd down a little bit here today on the home opener, but you need to get out and watch this team play. They're really entertaining and talented, and Frazier's worth the price of admission just to come out here and watch him kick.
Yeah, and with all this local talent, it's kind of like an all-star team out here. It's a lot of fun to watch.
We're down to 53 seconds left here in this second quarter, and the Blast looking for their first score of the game. Back, throwing, incomplete. Pass intended. Jones had his man open, and then there defensively covering was Zarius Morgan. Played at UTM, and him right here from Jackson.
Yeah, it wasn't Zarius a Northside boy?
I think he was. Yeah. I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got north side, south side covered here.
JCM.
Milan, Brownsville. Got a couple players from Lambeth on the team as well. Clock never moved, Hal, during that.
I'd like to cheat one of these and see if we can pick it off.
Here is Jones scampering, and he's going to be sacked. Getting him back there was Sean McCormick. Yeah, the clock's still not running. It didn't start the last time and hasn't started this time, and now they start it. Down to 48. Been okay for me if they just let it stop, because we might get our hands back on the ball on this fourth and about 16 yards, make it 17. Out of timeouts, so we can't stop it.
Yeah, I think that they'll have to run a punt at least.
Yep, and see the Blast in no hurry at all. Play clock's at 10, game clock at 28. They're looking at the clock right now, and they'll just let it expire. take the 5-yard penalty, and then have to punt the ball, and the War Eagles will get their hands on it one last time. As I mentioned Cole, and we were incorrect there. Antonio Cole and Antoine Stokes. Stokes is out there at the moment on the special teams. He's the guy last week, former Lane player, that had the interception return. Hal, I wanted to do a correction on that. The 90-yard interception return.
You've got Lambeth, you've got Lane, you've got Bethel.
Yep.
This is a great flavor. UTM, you said.
Yep.
Anoke played for UTM.
We do, and I'm looking down my list here, and had a couple players that played last year in the professional ranks at Chattanooga Stream, but you've got Shaw University represented as well. University of Tennessee at Chattanooga is where Billingsley went. So after all of this, they reset the play clock at 25, and now they're going to correct the game clock. It's got 14 on it right now. Our first break will be of 2 minutes at halftime along the way. And we'll come back and...
What we're going to do, Dave, is Coach had asked me if he could have some players come up and talk to you, interview. So we'll interview some players at halftime.
Okay. All right, we'll do that.
We'll get the cameras turned around, see some of these kids' faces. And
well, it'll be neat. Introduce them to the community, yeah. 13-0 your game. 15 seconds left here in this. And now timeout by the Blast. So we'll step out for a quick 30. You're watching and listening War Eagle football on WBFG 96.5 and on E+ TV 6 you're watching. Let's step out for 30. We're back with the final 15 seconds of the second quarter after this on the War Eagle Network.
Get those legs moving, can't you, Bill? Back here at LL Fonville Field, Diamond Dave McCulley, Hal Freeman, where the West Tennessee War Eagles lead this ball game 13-0. 15 seconds left in this second quarter here. And Diamond Dave, it has been all about special teams.
Certainly has been. We appreciate Gary Williams and his staff here at Lambeth getting the field ready and getting everything set up here for War Eagle football this year. This is the home of the War Eagles, and know that we mentioned Don Pitt, one of the Lambeth assistants, did a great job with the field, and Gary and his staff, I don't know what I'd have done without Greg and Booney through the years.
Ken Brown's been here nonstop the last 2 days working, and along with Coach Dickerson.
All right, 13-0 your score here. And here's the punt by Pope. And look at that flutter ball go back to him. And here's a short punt. And
we got to field that.
Perkins will try to get his hands on it at the 45, and he does. And with 4.9 seconds left, yeah, Hal, it would have been better if we could have come up and fielded that ball.
Yeah, take one shot, but he didn't look like he wanted any part of that knuckleball.
Well, if you're Coach Trent Borkin, what do? Do you toss it up and hope someone can run under it, or you just down the ball and go in at halftime leading 13-0?
You take a knee. You take a knee because you've had so many problems with, your sets. You've got personnel problems with your kids, and so all you want to do at this point, take a knee, go in and get cooled off.
And it is hot. Heat index, again, well over 100 today, but the teams, for the most part, have held up in pretty good fashion, keeping the liquids, and the trainers have done a good job with that. The War Eagles actually have a little bit of advantage if you look right down to below us here, and the fact that the shadows of the press box and the tents here actually give them a little bit of shade here in a couple places.
Yeah, you're right, and they're looking into the sun back out to the west.
That's brutal over there, I'm telling you.
That is brutal. Yeah.
45-yard line, and Anoke's in the gun. He's back there, going to air it out. There it is, and he tries to throw it downfield, and it is incomplete, almost. Person looked like he had a shot at it, Hal, but couldn't. I think he might have lost that ball a little bit.
Took a bad angle.
All right, that's going to be the half, and the War Eagles lead it 13-0. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we're back with our halftime activities and your scoring recap right after this on the War Eagle Network.
locations throughout West Tennessee, and Cashmaster makes it easy to get that extra Just call Cashmaster today at 866-936-CASH. That's 866-936-2274 for the Cashmaster location nearest you. With 5 locations in Jackson, there's one close by, ready to help. 866-936-2274. Cashmaster can help.
The day you take complete responsibility for yourself. The day you stop making excuses.
When that day comes, come see me, Matt Hoover.
Maximum Gym is your full-service fitness facility. Grab a training partner and head to Maximum with a Bring a Buddy deal. And don't leave without a professional bodyology massage from Kelly Dorsey. Mention this ad and receive a free smoothie from the juice bar. Maximum Gym, 51 South Creek Drive in Jackson.
Well, welcome back to LL Fonville Field, everybody. I'm Dave McCulley. This is War Eagle football. The War Eagles at the 14:42 mark, just into the ball game, just 18 seconds into the game. The 75-yard kickoff return by Justin Mood made it 6-0. Frazier, the PAT, made it 7-0, and that's how we stood early. And then it sort of settled into a defensive kind of scheme of things. Frazier, the 33-yard field goal at the 11:38 mark of the first quarter, made it 10-0. And then at the 1:13 mark of the second quarter, it is a new record here at LL Fonville Field. Two former Lambeth kickers, Evan Grenier and John Bass, from 52 yards out, both had held this facility record until just a few minutes ago when Sean Frazier, the former Bethel kicker, a 55-yard field goal into the wind, into a slight breeze as well. And that's how we stand here at halftime, 13-0. Well, a lot of folks make the thing possible, and things possible, I should say, with the War Eagles. And one of those young men is Ryan Moyers. I want to call him Brian. I want to call you Ryan all the time, Brian. I don't know why, but
well,
you, of course, have your own show on ESPN,
yes, sir.
On WBFG. I know you're on every Friday. Want to talk about that a little bit. And you also work for the War Eagles. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm enjoying a great game here of football. And, you know, also you talk about a facility record for Sean Frazier. It's also a personal record. His previous record coming into it all is 53 yards, and he's kicked that twice with Bethel over there in McKenzie. He did that on the home field, and so the Newcastle, England native doing a phenomenal job kicking for us. But yeah, talking about my show on 96.5 ESPN radio. It's called The Sports Voice, and we talk. My direction for the show is entertaining insight into the world of sports. We talk, anything you want to talk about, but college football and baseball is the main thing.
Absolutely, and I had a chance to listen to that just a little bit the other day, and certainly enjoyed that. And I know that Jim and Matt do a great job over there every day from 4 to 6 as well. And ESPN Radio here in West Tennessee, a pivotal part of the sports and athletic world here in West Tennessee with Kerry Mallard in the game.
Yeah, Kerry does a fantastic job, the director of sports operations there at the station, and hosting all of the Friday night football things and making sure that's coordinated and everything. Now, Kerry doesn't do the hosting for the Friday night show, but he makes sure that everything's running smoothly for us there. And the scoreboard show is a vital role to West Tennessee sports, absolutely.
Your thoughts about this franchise? You've been involved with the War Eagles from day one with Coach Bork into the gang, and I know that you play an important role there as well.
Well, I do. Being the PA announcer and director of media relations, trying to get everything worked out it's a tough job. It really is. It's my first foray, so to speak, into it all. But I certainly enjoy it, and I certainly enjoy the PA announcing. I was able to do that with Jackson Christian for 3 years.
Yeah, I heard from Brian Stewart the other day. He actually text messaged me and wished me good luck up at Bethel as we left Lambeth here just a couple of weeks ago and going up to Bethel now to work with those folks. But Coach Cackles came in. One of the first things he asked me the other day was, how is McCormick, Roth, and Frazier doing? And I said they all are doing quite well.
Definitely.
Well, we appreciate the great job you do with the War Eagles. Do a great job with the PA, and keep up the good work, and wanted to have you on the camera for a few minutes.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, buddy, thanks. Let's take a 1 minute break, and we're back with halftime and another special guest coming up right after this on the War Eagle Network. Stay with us. Thanks for coming up.
Thanks.
Welcome back to LL Fonville Field, everybody, on the campus of Lambuth University. We're joined by Trent Boykin, the head coach of the War Eagles. And, Coach, first of all, 13-0 here at the break. Your thoughts about that first half, sir?
Well, we're still doing some things that we worked on this week that I'm not happy about. You know, we're jumping off sides. We're not getting lined up, and we've got to be able to move them guys up front. I want to be able to run the football. We're not doing that right now. But, you know, the kicker's doing a good job, special teams, and our defense. So, we'll keep riding that bandwagon until we can't ride it anymore.
I want to talk about that defense in a minute, but the facility record here was held by John Bass and Evan Grenier, 52 yards out. Lambuth kickers, and Sean Frazier, now the former Bethel kicker. We understand, Brian just told me that's a new career record for him. His previous was 53. How about a 55-yarder? And it added about another 5 yards to spare.
Man, that's a weapon right there. And he tells me every day in practice, Coach, once we get to the 50, I'm good.
Talk about that defense. You mentioned them more. They were superb again this first half.
Yeah, they were. They fly around. We got a bunch of good group of guys out there, you know, and we got some depth, you know, so that's always big. We can rotate guys in. You know, we're doing well in the back end of it, of covering their guys and giving our guys up front a chance to get after the quarterback.
Big play by Mood to open up the game.
Yes, sir. You know, special teams is something that I'm always preaching about, that, you know, special teams is the glue to both sides of the offense and the defense. So, you know, we work special teams every day. We told them that, you know, we got to do something when toe meets leather. Something good has to happen. So we took it back, and that was a good jump start for us.
What kind of adjustments do you make, or do you just tell the guys, hey, look, go out and do the things we've been working on in practice?
Well, you know, we've got to complete the balls that should be catchable, and you know, up front there's some things we got to get fixed on the offensive line, and on myself. We got to get these plays in so the quarterback has a chance to check them if he needs to check them.
Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Coach Trent Boykin joins us here at halftime. Let's step out for 30. We're back right after this with another very special guest here on the War Eagle Network. Stay with us. How do you? I've been on twice. Do you want to do mine? That's fine. Coach, why don't you sit here in the house where I sit? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm just going good. I miss you guys. It's going good.
Get this stuff straight one of these days, you know. Keep losing coaches out.
I heard it. I'm killing me. Lost a couple. Right in here. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Back here at LL Fonville Field, Hal Freeman, Diamond Dave McCulley on the call today, where the West Tennessee War Eagles lead the Memphis Blast 13-0, and I'm very blessed today to have Coach Ron Dickerson, the head mentor of the Lambuth Eagles, with us today. And Coach Dickerson, it is such an honor for you to join us here, and it's such an honor to have you here. A lot of people know Coach Dickerson, a member of the 1972 Miami Dolphins, undefeated championship Super Bowl team, and Coach Dickerson now the lead mentor, and just a tremendous influence here. Coach Dickerson, talk a little bit about.
That makes me old, you know that.
You're young, I tell you. Yeah, I'm not even tell your age on the air.
No, that's okay.
62.
I'll be 62 in 3 weeks.
62 in 3 weeks, and I've never met a person that leads as good a life as you do, and that's just a testament to what you tell these kids.
God's been good to me.
God has been very good to you.
No.
Talk just for a second about what you saw out here first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Lambuth Eagles.
I tell you, I'm impressed, first of all, with their special teams. I mean, that's the toughest area to practice, and it looks like the War Eagles have done a great job with their special teams, obviously with the initial kickoff return, and their kicker is outstanding kicker. I mean, he kicks.
We saw him kick at Bethel.
Golly,
that's a Lambuth record, 55 yards.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a field record here.
Well, he still has it. I mean, it's amazing he's not in the league because he has a great foot.
Yeah, he's a Bethel Wildcat, and when Dave and I got to see him, you know, one of the things, and we heard Coach Boykin talk about it a little bit, they're a little bit out of sync. Obviously, for these kids this early in the year, they're going to be out of sync. And those are the things you're going to have to work out here in roughly a month.
Yeah.
About a month, your kids will start reporting.
That's exactly right, and some of them are coming in early, getting themselves set with this heat and getting their mindset with our system and the requirements that we have, and getting adjusted to each other. You know, quarterbacks are coming in, and we're having 7-on-7 on their own, and we have our strength conditioning coach Lee Yandel. He's working our guys hard and getting them in shape. And my requirement when they come in is a little different than in the past. Is they're going to have to do a little bit more cardiovascular. They're going to have to run 2 miles prior to the gassers that they do. So they're aware of that, and so they're out running long runs so that they'll be ready when the 3rd of August comes around.
Boy, that's tremendous. 2-mile runs kind of takes me back to my Navy days, and I used to even struggle then. Coach, talk a little bit this year about your philosophy on what we're going to see. Obviously, coming off a 12-0, 12-1 year, which you were part of the defensive secondary. Now you're the head mentor. What's your kind of going to be, first off, offensive, and then secondly, defensive?
Well, first of all, we're not playing the same teams. You know, and I'm not trying to back out of anything in comparison to what we've done in the past, but we're playing a lot more Division II schools. We play North Alabama and West Alabama, and on 9/11 we go to Georgia State and play in the Dome. We have a tough schedule. There's no question we have a tough schedule, but to get to your question, offensively we're gonna spread them out. It's going to be very similar to what they've done in the past. Okay, there's not going to be too much change. We have a couple new quarterbacks that we're going to still see who's going to lead us through this upcoming campaign, but we're still going to spread our offense out. We're going to run the ball as much as we can. We're going to throw the ball as much as we can, try to be as balanced as much as we can, and defensively, terminology-wise, we're going to be very similar. Tom Allen was our defensive coordinator. He obviously left back in February, but he left the package, and I'm going to basically be the coordinator of our defense, and so it's going to be very similar to what we've done in the past. Our special teams ought to be our highlight. Nate Ojibwe is outstanding kicker and punter, and so we feel very confident that he'll do a great job for us in that area, along with the returns that we have to do and getting our guys set up for.
Yeah, and talk about Nate Ojibwe. We got about a minute and 40 seconds left, but Nate's coming off of Tommy John surgery from trying to play baseball.
Yeah, and he came through it extremely well, and I talked to him about a week ago. As a matter of fact, he called me up, and I was in California, Monterey, California. He calls me, says, "Hey, I got a guy. It's a linebacker that wants to transfer from a Division I school. Do you think you want him?" And I said, "Yes, please. Tell him to give me a call." So he's out recruiting for us, and he's recovering well from the surgery he had a couple months ago.
Well, that is tremendous. Coach, thank you again for joining us during halftime. Going to take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with the start of the third quarter. The Memphis Blast 0, your West Tennessee War Eagles 13.
Super.
Welcome back, everybody. We're at LL Fonville Field. A guy standing behind us. We're out of time, and maybe we can sneak him on here just real quick. We'll do that. But one of the great running backs of Lambeth football history, and now a pro himself, Alan Urban, is snuck up here and talked to us. He's got his War Eagle shirt on. And Alan, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. I can't complain.
You probably know a lot of these guys from both teams, especially the Memphis team. You're from that area, the Memphis Blast. But great to have you back at Lambeth University.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be back. I definitely appreciate everybody with their welcoming arms, and it was pretty cool to be able to do the coin toss at the beginning of the game.
Well, that's outstanding, and we were missed that, and we do apologize. But tell me what Alan Urban is doing these days.
I got hurt during preseason this year with the Detroit Lions. I was there all of last year and then this year, and they released me week 4 after they put me on injury reserve. I got signed by the Eagles week 16, the first round of the playoffs, and they didn't re-sign me at the end of the year. So currently, I'm a Las Vegas locomotive in the UFL.
All right, now, and when do you play out there?
We have camp in August. We have a mini camp coming up. And I leave Tuesday to go to Las Vegas. And I think our first regular season game is September 17th.
Well, luck to you. It has to bring back a lot of memories, you coming to this facility.
Yeah, I feel like every time I get an opportunity to come back, I start replaying different plays that I ran.
One of my favorite pictures of you is that Murray State game where you're sweeping around the end that a guy named Josh Pendergrass, I think, took for me. But certainly that was a great moment. And you had some great moments. It's great to see you look in great shape, and good luck out in Las Vegas.
I definitely appreciate it.
All right, buddy. That's Alan Irvin, folks, one of the great players here ever at Lambuth University. He's got his War Eagle shirt on, and he's out in Las Vegas out there. And how great to see him. And we appreciate Brian Moyers, who came by, Trent Boykin came by, and, of course, we had Ron Dickerson, a member of that Miami team in 1972. That was a perfect record, and now Alan Irvin. So we've got all sorts of personalities up here at halftime.
I tell you what, Dave, you just can't beat it. You come to one of these games, you're going to meet some professionals, and you're going to meet some world champions. And if that mom or dad wants to bring that young man or young lady out here, you're going to meet some tremendous people, and you need to bring them on out.
Well, they're all coming up here. They're trying to meet Brandon Shields is what they were trying to do. So, you know, but all right, we get ready as the War Eagles kick it away, leading 13-0 here at the break. Going to be gathered in by Antoine Brown. The blast at the 10 to the 15 to the 20, bounces off the would-be tackler, but cannot beat the second two guys there. Boy, McCormick is having a great game, Sean McCormick. And also there was number 22, Jeremiah Bullock. He's had a heck of a game too, Hal.
Yeah, they really have, and that is tremendous because anytime you have a weapon like the kicker that the West Tennessee War Eagles have, and they can get the ball all the way back. Well, they spotted it on the 20, but that is really bad field position for the Memphis Blast. And, you know, up 13-0 now, what you're going to see, the defensive strategy, you're going to bring them. You're going to bring your linebackers. You're going to try to put them away because, like you said, they're one score away from being back in this game.
Bill doing a great job working with his son here today, and Brandon Shields, the sports editor now to our left, we mentioned a couple of times. Quarterback will be Jones. You'll read about this in the Sun tomorrow, and we appreciate them being here. But we mentioned that kick a moment ago. Now a flag coming in is too much time, I think. No, the clock still has 6 seconds on it. I'm not sure what happened there. But, again, Frazier's career high to that 55-yarder up at Bethel. He had a 53-yarder, we were told, Hal.
Yeah, they got an illegal substitution there. I guess he came on the line of scrimmage, came back off the line of scrimmage, and then he substituted. So that's what the infraction was. And that's what we talked about earlier there, you know, just totally out of sync.
Changes still, big fouls. He gets down on one knee, and that's actually Cornelius Bozier in the game now at the nose. Turner's up there, too, along on that front line with Vardamer. Here's the handoff to the running back, and maybe back to the 15. He may have scampered there, and that's it. It was first and 15 from the 15. It's going to be second and 15 from the 15.
Yeah, that defense, they are just pinning their ears back and going after it.
They look in mid-season form, don't they?
They really do. And what's impressive is they've been able to stay this fresh. They didn't go very far. They were right behind us here and stayed out in the heat.
All right, we get ready here as Ken Williams, the general manager, here to talk to Hal. And it's 13-0. It's going to be second and 15 from the 15. Here is the quarterback handing it off to the running back, and nothing much there at all for Antoine Brown, as he may have got back to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be stopped there at about the 13-yard line. Hal, take it away there.
You know, what I like about that, Dave, is all these kids, they're just shooting the gaps, and when those linebackers are shooting the gaps, they've taken that team speed and they're able to push them back. Now you're looking at about a 3rd and 14, and the Memphis Blast look totally out of sync here. They're not in the huddle. They're not doing what they should be doing, and this is very difficult, especially you're making substitutions with 10 seconds left on the clock.
So it'll be 3rd down to 11. Erica Davis is here with us, and she has got a young guest with us, Hal, that's going to be joining us on the radio here in just a minute. Ken Williams, the general manager, and now we have a timeout on the field. Melvin Jones calls a timeout, but let's see what's happening here as we have a special guest that's going to join us from time to time on our home radio cast, and let's get her over here, okay? And we'll get her name here, and she's our segment called Kid on the Radio, and she's going to tell you what happened here just a moment ago. And we'll do that, then Hal will come right back in with us, 13-0. And young lady, what is your name?
Tiara.
Tiara, and what's your last name, Tiara?
Kristen.
Kristen, how you spell your last name?
CHRYSTAK.
Okay, well, great to have you. Stay with me here just a minute, and you can fill in for Mr. Howell here for a second. Here's Jones, the quarterback. Third down after that penalty moves him back to 10. It's 3rd and 20. Jones carries it, and he's blasted. The Memphis blast blasted right there at the 10-yard line. Tara, how do you like that play?
I like.
Do you like football a lot? Kinda. Okay. Do you know some of the players on the team here?
No.
Not really. Are you from Jackson? Where do you go to school?
JCT.
JCT. Okay. Well, that's good. You like football altogether?
Yes.
All right, you've got a couple of tickets here. What are you doing with those tickets?
I'm gonna come to the War Eagles game.
Oh, you're going to come to the next home game then, huh? Okay. All right. Well, stay with me just another minute or two, and we'll get you on here. Here's Pope to kick it away. It's 4th and 20. That's that high floating snap again. It's blocked. And it's blocked this time, and it's going to be a safety. And blocking it back there will be Terry Franklin on the block. How about that? All right, Erica, tell me, Tara, that you won the end zone dance contest during halftime.
Yes.
You like to dance? Kinda. Okay. Well, that's quite an honor. And you won the tickets because of that, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for coming by, and certainly look forward to seeing you. Come up here and see me the next home game. Will you do that? All right. Tara is joining us here, and we appreciate that. Erica, good job by that young lady, and we appreciate that. And Mr. Howell will come back in and join us now. Great job, young lady. And here's Howell, and Howell Franklin blocked that punt. And again, you see that high floating snap back there, and the punter doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, and we talk about it the whole day, Dave. Special teams, and that's all it's been about, because the Memphis Blast, obviously, they have no center snapper. That's what I used to do in high school and starting in college. That's what I used to do. I was a center snapper, and I got to tell you, you cannot float the ball back there because that defense is going to come in on top. Terry Franklin, I mean, just smothered that ball, almost took it off his foot.
So it makes it 15-0. How that's the 3rd safety that the War Eagles have converted this year. How about that?
And, you know, that safeties, once again, is going to give them great field position because you've got special teams here showing up again, and their punter has not shown that he can get the ball downfield.
Now, Pope will boot this one away. Got to be gathered in here right near the 41-yard line, and that's Billingsley. He's to midfield, to the 45, to the 40. On his feet still, down inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. Nice tackle there by Brian Morton, young man from Memphis. He may have saved a touchdown there. I don't know. They had 2 or 3 other people down there in the vicinity. But a nice return by Billingsley, and Howell leading 15-0. Great field position.
I like what Luttrell did there, too. He did not waste any time juking. He went north and south. That's all he cared about. And he took the ball north and followed his blockers. And, again, special teams. Tremendous field position here. This is where you and I talked about earlier today. You got to take your shots.
36-yard line. You're right.
Take your shots right here.
We've had a couple of good field position opportunities get by the board early in the game. At the 36, 1st and 10.
I like that.
Here's a pass out of the flat, caught by Person. Person dancing out of bounds, knocked out by Shabazz. Hey, don't forget, next home game coming up 2 weeks from today. You can call the War Eagle ticket office at 736-2500. It's just $10 for the adults, $5 for children. $50 for your adult season, and child season is just $25. How you like that call on the first pass?
That. I love that because now you're putting the pressure on their defense. They're already down 13-0 or 15-0 after the safety, and that defense has been on the field a lot, and it is just brutal hot. You can feel the heat coming up here.
Terrence Rollins, former player at Lane, comes out. Back in the ball game will be Person. Receiver far side right is Scott. One lone setback. That one lone setback has the handoff. Scooting his way down to the 25 for a War Eagle first down will be Cole. And he's pinned to the ground there. Big number 73, Chris Graves, leading the offensive attack that time, blocking. He gets up, and it's going to be a first down for the War Eagles at the 25.
And what they're doing there, those big linemen, they're down on their knees every play now, and they're just pounding them out. That's a pounded out first down. We don't have good stats, but several first downs now when they've needed a couple of yards, and they've been able to get that.
Tara came up. She won the end zone dance, and she won 2 tickets. And so a lot of different things going on that you can win tickets if you come out. Norquay dropping back, wanted the screen pattern. He's got it. He's going to be caught by the tight end inside the 20 down to the 15. Still on his feet. He's going to go in the end zone. That is going to be a touchdown. How about Terrence Rollins? He must have broke 3 or 4 tackles. No flags on the play. How they had that well defended far side right. It came back to the inside, and Rollins able to lumber in for the big score.
Yeah, they had 3 people that hit him down there, and one of their big linemen is whooped down. But that's poor tackling. That's caused by the fatigue at this point in the game.
So Rollins, his first touchdown as a War Eagle, a reception that is, and in our case, first touchdown pass, and it makes it 21-0. And to attempt the PAT will be Frazier. PATs have to look like just little bitty chip shots for him. Roth, the holder, counting, and they need one more person out there.
No, they're in trouble.
And getting back out there very quickly will be Robert Treadway, played at Milan. He's out there in plenty of time. 15 on the play clock. Shouldn't hurt a bit. 21-0 your score. And it will be Frazier in to attempt the PAT. Snap back, high snap, and it's blocked. And ball scampering around there, and the blast trying to pick it up, and now it's covered there at about the 15-yard side, so they are 15-yard line. So the block PAT makes it still 21-0. A step out for a 30. You're watching and listening on the War Eagle Network.
Back here at LL Fonville Field, Diamond Dave McCulley, Hal Freeman on the call today, where the West Tennessee homestanding War Eagles today in their inaugural season, up 21-0 after we saw the extra point blocked. But what a great pass play. First one of the year, Anoka to Dexter.
To Terrence Rollins.
Terrence Rollins.
Yep.
And Rollins' first touchdown as well. 21-0, 9:20 left in this third quarter. And Diamond Dave, it's been all about special teams.
It really has. The kickoff return to open up the game, the 75-yard kickoff return by Mood. Then Frazier, 2 field goals, 33 and 55 yards respectively. And then the Franklin block punt, safety. And then that offensive score that time. Here's the kick. There's Chambers. Make it Brown bringing it back. Brown looks like a pretty good athlete, but we've done a good job pinning him in for the most part. He returns it to about the 25-yard line. Let's going to mark it at about the 30, I think. Let's wait and see. No, they're going to mark it at the 26, Al. Let's say where he was out of bounds. First and 10, and the War Eagle defense has just stymied any kind of offensive. They had one series of plays, Hal, where they had a pass and then a run for the first downs, and that's been pretty well it all day.
It has. That's been all that you've seen, and this defense has been impressive because they're fast. They're not, what I consider overweight. These athletes seem to be in tremendous physical condition, and that's a testament to them because, even though they're trying to play for their lives, these kids stay in tremendous shape, trying to hope for that next shot in the NFL or the CFL or like Allen Irvin's doing right now.
Yeah, playing for Las Vegas. That injury to Allen up in Detroit was a heartbreaker because he had just about made that team and got hurt right at the very end of the preseason practice. Jones, nowhere to go. Quarterback sacked, back at about the 23. All sorts of folks back there. Big number 75 back there, that being Larry Faust. Also back there on the blitz that time was Jermaine Harris, who's had a heck of a defensive game.
And you love what Coach is doing. He loves coaching this defense, and you watched him for many years here at Lambeth University. You called while he was here and been over there at USJ with Mickey Marley. And, boy, he is just loving it. He's letting those linebackers pin their ears back, those defensive ends, and Coach Hardigree's just letting them go.
Denard Woodard in there at one of the linebacker positions. Here's Rodriguez Cockrell, the youngster from Jackson Northside. He's in there as well, number 53. Second down at about 12. Here is the quarterback out of the flat, throws it out there. It's caught by Kaiser. Kaiser, not much. He got back to the 25, just short of the original line of scrimmage. He's going to pick up maybe a yard and a half. That well defended again, Hal.
Yeah, they're just team speed. We talked about it since the opening kickoff, and their team speed is a lot better than the Memphis Blast team speed.
Jones effective running the ball a couple times in that first quarter, but other than that, the running game has not been there other than one play for the Blast. They've had a couple of pass receptions, 1 for a first down, but it just looks like a team right now that, to be honest with you, is ready to get this thing over with. And it's going to be hash mark left, 6:55 left, play clock down to 7, down to 6, down to 5, down to 4. I don't know if they'll get it under snapped or not. With 1 second, it's snapped, it's a fumble, it's loose, and the War Eagles have come up with it. It looked like Kerry Reeves from Jackson Southside recovered that. Let's wait and see. We'll spot that number as he gets
number
up.
40.
It is Reeves, yeah, from Jackson Southside.
Yeah.
How that play was a disaster from the get-go. The play clock running down, and you could tell they would have been better served to blast if they called a timeout.
Yeah, after all those timeouts they called earlier, you kept looking over the sidelines. He wasn't even looking at the ball when it was snapped, and just a disaster for this Memphis Blast team.
So great field position. The ball at the 12-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 there. The Blast leading 13-0 at the break. 11-15 safety. 9:20 of this third quarter. Onarke to Rollins, a 25-yard touchdown. PAT was blocked, but it's 21-0. Onarke in the gun. The ball inside the 15. Let's call it the 12. Snap back in the gun. Rolling right, Onarke, very elusive. Throws, and it's going to be incomplete. Going to his knees to try to catch that in the end zone that time. And a good effort by Person, but Onarke, he did a good job there, Hal, because he threw it to where if anyone could catch it, it would be his receiver, no one else.
Yeah, Coach Boykin is hot. He is mad, and something happened there, and he just called a timeout and came out talking immediately.
He is all over the offensive line there. I'm not sure what that's about. And Coach Boykin, out of the field, called the timeout. Timeout on the field, 21-0, 6:20 left in the third. Let's sneak out for a quick 30. We're back after this on the War Eagle Network.
Back here at Ella Fonville Field, where the homestanding West Tennessee War Eagles lead this ball game 21-0, 6:20 left in this third quarter. Diamond Dave McCulley, I'm Hal Freeman, having the call today. And Diamond Dave, this has just been a dominating performance defensively and offensively for the West Tennessee War Eagles.
Yeah, defensively it's just been superb, just like it was last week. I mean, they kept the Predators from almost doing anything down there on a positive nature. Last week, let's go back and see, this defense only gave up, well, they gave up 8 first downs in the entire game. Handoff, running back, not much, and then hit and drop back there will be Jacoby Bond, Ball State player in recent years. He's another one of those kids from Haywood County from Brownsville. He had a big positive run in that first half, but how nothing there. They drop him back at about the 16-yard line. That's a loss, where it brings up now 3rd and 13.
Yeah, give the Memphis Blast a lot of credit. They're not quitting, and a couple of their kids are, you can tell they're tired, but they are not quitting. And, this late in the game with 5:50 left in this third quarter, think you'd see a lot of quit, but you're not.
Yeah, we've talked about our offense not cranking up. You got to give their defense some credit here. That's a good point. We've bragged about our defense, but they've been superb. Here's the fly pattern back there, and it's what a catch. Great catch by Person, and we've got a flag. I think that's going to be roughing the passer, I believe. Person made an outstanding catch at the 5:34 mark, and what a great, they had that pretty well defended too.
Yeah, he really did. I think he hit him in the, roughing the passer.
Yep.
Well, he didn't know who he's calling on. There you go.
There it is, yep. He corrected it.
He hit him in the face, so you can't hit him in the face like that.
So that was an 18-yard strike from Onarke, this time to a great catch by Person. Josh played well last week, and now it's 27-0, and in to attempt the PAT will be Sean Frazier again.
Yeah, boy, he got up there. He looked like a high jumper on that play.
Big number 79, Chris Covington, lumbering in there. Sets it down on the offensive line, which is a huge offensive line. Frazier with Roth the holder. 27-0 at the 5:34 mark. High snap again. This time Roth able to pull it down in time, though. It's good. 28-0. Back after this 30 with the War Eagles leading on the War Eagle Network. Hal Freeman, I look below. General Manager Ken Williams has to really be pleased with the inaugural and the debut, the home debut anyway, of this War Eagle team. 28-0, and now the offense, 2 plays in a row, Hal, getting it cranked up here.
Yeah, they really are. They're looking like they're in a lot better sync, and just a beautiful pass from Anoke. And you got to give them credit because they're going to go ahead and run their offense here, even against the Blast. And I just talked about them not giving up. That's just a tremendous offensive play. You can't beat it when you get that kind of an offensive play.
Shields is working on his tan out here. We've offered him shade. We've offered him water. He won't take either now, but he's working on his suntan out there. 28-0 with 5:34 left. Sun does a great job down there. We appreciate them. Here's a great kick. And the deep guys never even moved. They just said, hey, we can say that's going into the north end zone, and threw it anyway.
Yeah, the 15-yard penalty really gave a big advantage there. And Frazier is going to knock that out of the end zone anytime.
You give him 15, you give him another few yards, and he knocked it into, what, King Street, wouldn't he?
Oh, man.
Or Arlington in this case, yep, all the years.
Now it's going to be interesting to see because, you know, Coach at this point has not played defense very safe. He's brought those linebackers up. He's cheated them up. And the Blast just has not had a chance to get in any kind of offensive rhythm. I would venture to say, especially with us not having stats up here, there has been not 1 yard gained in this third quarter.
Myron Vinson's in there now, played here at Lambeth. He's from Bolivar. Getting all the young men's names in there. Kenny Coleman. And still in there defensively is, well, there's Vincent back there. And in there at the linebacker position, Anthony Eccles. Also in is Robert Treadway. So a lot of folks in this heat getting a chance to play. The big nose continues to be Faust. We've seen Cornelius Bozier there at times as well. In the gun, here's the blitz. They've got the young man running for his life, and he throws it away. Boy, Faust was back there, and also flushing him out of the pocket was Rodriguez Cockrell. So the fresh legs right now, some of the kids that maybe didn't get a chance to play a lot last week, Hal, showing and paying dividends for the War Eagles.
They are. They are just coming after him. It's relentless at this point. And, you know, the Blast are not living up to their name at this point.
No, they're not. They're getting blasted 28-0. In there defensively, too, there's Rodriguez, we mentioned, or Cockrell, I should say. And some of the regulars getting a chance to rest. Quarterback in the gun again. He drops back, looks, wants to throw. Throws it down there. He's got a man open, but that hung in the air too long. Great defense downfield. And covering down there, just a tremendous defensive play, was Kenny Coleman, who's in there defensively now. Pass intended to Josh Nash.
I'll tell you, that's a tremendous arm right there. He threw that from almost the 15-yard line, and that ball's all the way down to the 35-yard line.
That's his best pass of the day, although it was incomplete. You're right, Hal. But great defense, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great defense. And they're just, like we said before, they're pinning their ears back, those big D linemen. This nose tackle I'm impressed with. He's played the whole game. Big 75,
Larry
Faust. And I tell you what, from Brownsville, Tennessee, give that kid a lot of credit. He's in some good condition.
He really is. Here's a low snap, but the quarterback pulls it down and wants to throw a little floater out here, and it's going to be incomplete. Had 2 receivers, would-be receivers here in the area. And great defense there. Covering was Harris. Also covering was Marshall Height. And in the neighborhood, too, defensively, was Morgan. That didn't have a chance, did it, Hal?
No, it didn't. It didn't at all. Now,
So the defense doing a number on the Blast again.
I want to see this punt because this kid knows he's got to get it off quickly and has not been able to. And, you know, these kids are fresh. They want to come after him. So be interesting to see what happens on this punt.
You folks watching on TV will describe it on the radio side. Watch the butterfly snap again, Hal. It just sort of goes high up in the air and floats.
Oh,
See
didn't
that?
even get to him,
It's
didn't it?
It's a horrible snap.
That's a fumble.
It's a terrible snap. It's a fumble. And the War Eagles have it. And recovering that was Robert Treadway inside the 15. Hal, I don't know if I've ever seen consistently as many problems snapping the ball to a punter as we've had here today for the Blast.
They have obviously don't have a long snapper, and now they've got I think that's their punter.
You could see on TV, folks, and we'll tell you, folks, we described it on the radio side, the ball never got to him.
No, and he bent down and he got hit around the knee areas, and he's hurt.
And he doesn't seem to be back too deep. It's just a very poor snapping. Well, you hope he's okay. The Sports Plus folks going out to attend to Jaquez Pope, the punter. It's 28-0, 4:53, just radio only next week as we come your way from Huntsville, the Huntsville Hurricanes. Airtime at 3:45 on WBFG, and the kickoff at 4. Howard, you and I will be back 3 weeks in a row after that. Get out and support the team. Arkansas Pirates on the 26th of June. River City Raptors on July the 10th. And on July the 17th, the Memphis Predators. And you think it's June and it's hot, but hopefully it won't be as hot in those July weekdays or weekends as it is here.
And the 26th of June, we'll go ahead and get our plugs in because worked out a deal between JEA, E plus TV6. LJT will be here that weekend.
All right, okay. Darryl Connor and the gang up there.
That's right. So, you know, it's great that we worked out all these partnerships, trying to get the West Tennessee War Eagles out, trying to get them out and let these kids have a look throughout. So we'll keep them on the World Wide Web, www.e plus TV and the number 6.net. And we, you know, it's just it's a great thing that we have that ability here in our community to be able to get Sam Turner and his gang lets us get on the air and gives us some airtime. And then LJT with public television, you just can't beat it.
Miss Peggy is watching us back at 215 Idle Hour. She just checked in. Well, Al, it's time out on the field, 28-0. Again, tickets available, just $10 for an adult, $5 for children. And again, that number to call for your ticket information is 736-2500. So the road game next week, 3 consecutive home dates. It'll be good to be home, but we'll leave out early next Saturday morning, going out to Huntsville for that ball game down there on WBFG. Well, Pope is up, and to say that he's walking off gingerly, I think that would be probably the proper thing to say.
Yeah, I think he wants to talk to that long snapper.
Yeah. Sports Plus gal coming off. She did a great job with that. Trainers are worth their weight in gold, aren't they, Al?
Yeah, they really are. And you've already talked about how great a job, but they are so unsung. But until they get on the field and they have to do the work that they do, you just can't imagine and what hours they put in before a game and after a game.
Absolutely, and they are people that you always feel safe when you know that they're out attending to the athletes. Well, it will be the War Eagles ball, and they'll have it at the 14-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10, leading the game already 28-0. An OK under center with receivers each way. One lone setback is Cole behind him. He'll play fake it to Cole and roll here, and they've got him well defended. He's got to run for his life and throw it. Did a great job. That pass is complete to Person down inside the 10. That's just a quarterback improvising and making a wonderful play. And the ball caught by Person, knocked it out of bounds, Hal, at the 6-yard line when it looked like that play was dead in the water.
That is outstanding because I got to tell you, offensive linemen did not do him a favor there. They let the floodgates wide open, and that quarterback made Noka made a tremendous play.
So the ball is just short of the first down. It's going to be second down at about 2.5 yards. Here's the flip back this time. Cole trying to punch it in. He's inside the 5. He's down near the goal line. They're going to knock him down at about the 1 or 2. It's going to be 1st and goal there. Nice offensive blocking by the left side of that line that time.
Yeah, they did a great job. The first time the pass blocking, not so good. Right there, a tremendous job.
Aaron Newton, the right guard, but the left side of the line, Chris Covington and Chase Watkins doing a good job. That big center, too, is Chris Graves. Give the guys their due. It's 1st and goal, the ball inside the 4-yard line. Onorke directing traffic. He has Cedarius McGee in there at the tight end position. The setback this time, and he hands it off to that setback. And plunging his way down at the goal line is Jacoby Bond. It's going to be a little short, down to the 1. The big guy came in to carry it.
Yeah, he really did, and kind of undercut, submarined him, and down about the half-yard line now, and it'll be 2nd and goal from about the half-yard line.
I like that call. I'll just give it to the big guy.
Yeah, they're just going to submarine in there. I just try to go over the top. These kids are so tired.
It's going to be 2nd and goal from the 1. Anorke may keep it himself. He does just that. The big line trying to punch him in. He follows the center this time. He follows the 300-pounder Chris Graves. Touchdown, War Eagles.
I tell you what, I know it was a short drive, but, you know, they looked really good. Boy, there's a lot of bodies coming up, getting up very, very slowly.
14-yard drive, the 1-yard plunge by Anorke. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the year, and it's 34-0.
And at this point, you know the Memphis Blasts have had it in 2:51. Still a lot of time in this 3rd quarter. And kind of like the 1st quarter, very slow moving.
Yeah, although the 2nd quarter was much, much quicker, and now we've got a flag on the play. I don't know what that's about. Roth buries his helmet, his head there.
Yeah,
illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution against the War Eagle.
trying to give Shields some water. He won't take my water. I think he thinks I've doctored the water here. Brandon Shields to our left, and it's 34-0 and how illegal substitution.
I see where Brandon has got enough sun for the day, and he's moved back under the safety of the tent.
He's working on his tan. I commented on one of his Facebook posts today. It is a PAT now that will be about a 25-yarder. This should be no problems for Frazier. He knocks it right through, and it's 35-0.
Yeah.
Let's step out for a 30-second break. It's all War Eagles in this one. You're watching and listening on the War Eagle Network.
It's football time in Tennessee. That's right. You don't have to wait till fall for your football fix. West Tennessee's first minor league football team is ready to hit the gridiron, and the home opener is set for June 12th. The West Tenn War Eagles, led by Coach Trent Boykin, feature a 13-game schedule, including 6 home games to be played at Lambeth University. Don't miss out on all the hard-hitting action. Tickets are just $10 and can be purchased at 100 Federal Drive.
Back here at LL Fonville Field, Diamond Dave McCulley, Hal Freeman, 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in this third stanza, where your homestanding West Tennessee War Eagles lead the game 35-0 over the Memphis Blast. And Diamond Dave, it has been nothing but the offense of the Memphis Blast just cannot get it going, and special teams have dominated this ball game.
And now the War Eagle offense really clicking on pretty well all cylinders, running the ball well, passing it well. And you're right, Hal, 35-0. Molly Nair is our producer director on the radio side. Hal will get all the youngsters that's working with us, Lambeth University students that are helping us with our cameras and production crew today. They do a great job. Here's the kick by Frazier. And 3 guys there, and they said, I don't want it, you take it. And picking it up at the 15 to the 20 to the 25, bringing it back will be Jones bringing it back. Actually, it's the guy that's been playing quarterback, Melvin Jones. And Hal, they brought it back to him. I guess they feel like that's their best weapon right now. And the ball will be at about the 26, 27-yard line.
Yeah, and let me go through once again these kids at E+, that come out here on a hot day, 100-degree plus heat index. Ken Bauer helping produce and direct, along with David Smith producing and directing, Ellie James, Autumn King, Rochelle Jones, and Nathan Miles. And give a lot of credit to those kids. They're learning how to do TV, and it's just a tremendous learning experience throughout the summer here with the West Tennessee War Eagles.
Autumn has captured Brandon Schultz's attention because she's got that Alabama cap on down there. He's a big Tide fan. And it will be Jones in the gun. Jones throws, butterfly, sells it out of bounds. Hal, he had to unload that thing because he had people all in his face. Back there that time, Anthony Eccles, and also back was Malik Fryer.
Yeah, neither team is putting neither offensive line is putting up much resistance at this point. They just want to get it done.
Well, I remind you that our action today being brought to you in part on the radio side by Ken Davis, State Farm. That's in Alamo. Wes Harris, State Farm in Jackson. Maximum Health and Fitness. Barn Hills Buffet, UPS Print, the Hughes Agency, Allstate, Delta Faucet, Guest House Hotel, Jackson Clinic, Lenny's Sub Shop, Sports Plus, the West Tennessee Examiner, Coca-Cola, Pringles, and we'll have some more here in just a minute. Second out and 10. Here's Melvin Jones rolling, double clutching, pumping. He's got a beat on him, and the guy that got a beat on him is Stephen Turner, and he sacks him back at about the 15, 16-yard line. Almost a horse collar, but he got away with it.
I was getting ready to say, a great point, Dave. He grabbed a hold of the actual neck, then took his hand off of it, grabbed the shoulder pad, and did not jerk him down, so there was not a penalty there. That is a tremendous play because he did realize exactly what you said. He was up in the horse collar area.
Got him by the jersey, though, the 6'2", 280-pound defensive end, former Tomcat from Brownsville. Also, Meineke Car Care Center, Domterra Paper in Brownsville, the Air Force of Jackson, West Tennessee Healthcare, the National Guard of Jackson, and Miss Ollie's working all of our sponsors in. 50 seconds left here in the third, 35-0. It's 3rd and 17. Or 3rd and 20. Here's Jones running for his life, throwing a floater out there. Should be picked off. It is picked off at the 35-yard line. And picking that ball off will be Kenny Coleman. Coleman down to the 30-yard line, and Kenny Coleman picked off that real ill-advised thrown ball by Jones.
Yeah, and there's players that are down. All right, the one player got up. The one player is still down. So I don't have a number. They're hard to see over there. But I'm sure that SOL, Sports Orthopedic Spine, will get over there and help them out.
Well, it's a silver number on a black, on a blue uniform, and they're just hard to read, and some of them light up. I knew that when Bill Sorrell said he had trouble reading them, I wasn't just the only one. Well, hope the young man from the Memphis Blast is okay. He's not moving much back here at about the 45-yard line. And the defense does a number again on the Blast. Hal, it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 31 of the Blast.
You know what, I'm impressed. I said early on we would see a lot of cramping in this game. We have not seen that cramping, and that's incredible.
That's a good point. We really haven't, have we?
No, we have not. Just amazing.
I don't think this is anything of a cramped nature here that they're attending to. I think he was just hit when all the melee broke loose there as far as the interception. It's been a cleanly played game, Hal. We've seen a couple of, illegal blocks or that kind of thing, but the kids have, or the young men have done a good job. There's been good sportsmanship on both sides as well.
Yeah, it has been great sportsmanship on both sides, and that's one thing you like to see in these developmental leagues. These kids need to be able to work together and understand their situations, and it's just a testament so far to this coaching staff. And anytime you got a Trent Boykin, you've got our favorite coach over here, coaching the defensive side of the ball, you're going to have that good sound and fundamental kids out there not trying to do anything additional. And that's the other thing. We have not seen that personal foul penalty or that late hit out of bounds.
It's great to see Coach Hardigree. He was undergoing some tests last week. We mentioned that in the first half. And Jim, not only a great defensive mind, but he's a smart young man as well. He's back here in the shade right now. And the War Eagles really get the advantage here the late afternoon. They get the shade of the press box, and bless the kids' hearts from Memphis to Blast. They're in the sun, right in the brutal part of it. And the young man that is up is Josh Nash. He looks like he's okay. He's a young man, 5'11", 185-pounder from Memphis. He's up. I think he just got the wind knocked out of him, Hal, more than anything else.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he laid out on that ball on the interception, and here we are, 38 seconds left, and the War Eagles up 35-0. Great field position again. You can't call off the dogs. You hate to say that, but you can't do it because these kids are finally in a good rhythm, and you want to see them go ahead and score as much as possible.
Yeah, because you're working on next week's game right now.
Absolutely.
Right side, long receiver Person. Two receivers to the near side, that being Ingram and Perkins. Handoff, running back. Running that ball down inside the 30. It looks like Billingsley carrying it inside the 25, down to the 23. He's very close to the first down, down to the 22-yard line. And it was Billingsley carrying at that time. Latrell Billingsley, 5'9", 175, played at Chattanooga. He's from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, and Latrell has looked really good. That north and south runner doesn't juke around. That is the end of the third quarter. The West Tennessee Eagles up 35-0. We're going to take a 1-minute break. 1-minute break, and we'll be back. Back here at L.L. Fonville Field on the beautiful campus of Lambeth University. Now starting the fourth quarter with the homestanding West Tennessee War Eagles up 35-0 over the Memphis Blast. And Diamond Dave, really in that third quarter, we saw nothing but the War Eagles kind of put the hammer down and put this one out of reach, because only up 13-0, or basically 13-0 at the half. You were talking about it, it could have been one score and this Blast would have been in it, but they put the hammer down and really put this game out of reach.
Yeah, scoring recap in the third quarter, Hal, good point, 11-15. Franklin, the block punt attempt, safety. Anorque to Terrence Rollins, 25-yard touchdown pass, 9-20 made it 21-0. Block PAT. 18-yard pass play, Anorque to Person with 5:34. PAT by Frazier made it 28-0. Then the 1-yard plunge by Anorque on a 14-yard drive made it 34-0. PAT by Frazier. That's how we stand. And Coleman had the INT a moment ago, and that's why the War Eagles have it in good stead now again. The ball down to about the 22-yard line, and you can tell the Blast, you got to credit especially their defense. They've tried to hang in there the best they can, but they've got to be out of gas, to say the least. 2nd and 2, the ball at the 23. Anorque goes up top. Here's the pass. Person caught it, but he's well out of bounds. Good play there defensively by Raheem, I should say, Shabazz. Good coverage by Shabazz that time. Person almost guilty of pushing off, Hal, too.
That's a good point because he pushed off and actually went out of bounds when he did that.
3rd down and 2, 14:28 left here in this game. And the heat has been a factor for both teams, but I would say right now that the War Eagles have handled it much better than the Blast. Of course, Hal, when you're ahead, you don't feel the heat as bad, do you?
Yeah, and you look across there, every one of their kids are sitting down. It's just a very difficult situation for them.
3rd down and 2, the ball again at the 23-yard line. We approach the 14-minute mark of the game. War Eagles lead 35-0, and now timeout as Anorque did not like something that he saw there. We're going to keep it here, reminding you that the War Eagles back home again 2 weeks from today as they come back here to take on the Arkansas Pirates. And then the River City Raptors out of Kentucky the following week, the Memphis Predators on the 17th. So how the next 4 weeks, only one road game, and that's down in Huntsville next week.
I'll tell you what, that's a great trip because you and I have been down through there. You know, what stadium are they playing at in Huntsville?
I'm not sure. I got to find out. Not sure. 35-0. This Memphis Blast team plays their game at Memphis Melrose. Last week we were at the fairgrounds in Memphis. But Coach Borkin, what called the timeout there? Why did Anorque have to call the timeout, you think, Al? He was talking to Billingsley, who was his lone running back there.
Yeah, he's had a couple of personnel problems, and he's working on these personnel packages. And, you know, they have not had that big a problem in the third quarter, but right there I think he's trying to kind of play around for the next game. And when he did that, he had a little problem with that package.
35-zip, 13:56 left in the fourth quarter. War Eagles have played well here again. A second shutout, 21-0 last week, 35-0 here today. This defense has been well ahead of everybody else in the league as far as not allowing any points. Anorque and that gun again. Here he's going to keep it himself on the quarterback keeper. They've got him pinned in, but I think his second and third effort is going to get him the first down. It does. Down to the 18-yard line. And what a dazzling short run by Dexter Anorque.
He got into that secondary a little bit, had a spin move, and on a dime got through there and got the first down. Tremendous move.
35-0 your score. Clock still running, and how you not only get the first down, but you eat up clock. You just run the ball here and get this thing over with, not getting anyone hurt, and go to 2-0.
Yeah, it's exactly right. You know, with this heat, you want to run the ball. Don't throw it. You don't have to throw it that much. If you throw the short passes.
Security staff's done a great job here today, and we appreciate them as well. We'll not mention them. Hand off Billingsley. Billingsley right through the offensive line. He thrust his way down inside the 15, down to the 10. He's inside the 10-yard line. He's got another War Eagle first down, and Billingsley really running it well. And now this Blast defense has to completely just be, just sucking air right now.
Yeah, they are. You can just see they can't change out personnel, and the War Eagles are changing out personnel right and left, and so that's been the difference in this game in the second half.
The Coleman INT set this up at the 31-yard line, and now with 12.5 minutes left, it winds down with the War Eagles leading 35-0. Anorque will come up. Actually, D'Angelo Johnson's in there at the quarterback position now. Marks out his cadence, and I think he's pulled them off sides, I believe. D'Angelo Johnson, 6'1", 220 from Memphis. Every time you think Memphis and D'Angelo, you think D'Angelo Williams, don't you? And Stacy McGee is an offensive lineman, played here at Lambeth briefly. He's in there at the offensive line. Also in there is Chris Covington still in. We're trying to get all the names in, Hal, but illegal motion on the War Eagles that time.
Yeah, that was a different cadence, and when they had that cadence, everybody, that whole right side of the offensive line came up.
So D'Angelo Johnson, his first appearance, he drops the ball, scampers, and gets back on it at about the 10-yard line.
coach is not going to like that. You're first down at the 5. You take the 5 yards down. You fumble on your second down. Now you go back to second down, and so this is not the way that he wanted to start down there on the goal line.
Coach Boykins steps out on the field briefly there and just tells D'Angelo to settle down, A, and then B, here's what I want you to do. D'Angelo looks more like a running back. He is stocky kid, 6'1", 220.
He is built.
He really is. The big center over that ball is Chris Graves. Johnson, the new quarterback, one lone setback, receiver each way. Hands it off to Billingsley. He bobbles it and drops it and fumbles it. It's going to be picked up by the Blast, and they have it at the 20-yard line.
Give them credit. They have not stopped playing this ball game.
Yeah, they hit Billingsley hard that time.
They hit him hard, and give them a lot of credit. And their coaches tell them, say, look, I appreciate the fact you have not given up.
Yep, so the Blast, their defense holds, and it's still 35-0. Clock still running at 11 minutes and counting. It's recovered by 43, Brian Morton, 6'1", 240-pound linebacker from Memphis. I was looking down their roster. They got a young man from Chattanooga, a guy from Chicago, and a guy from Forest City, Arkansas, and the rest of their 50 or 45-plus players are all from the Bluff City. 35-0, 10.5 left, and they'll have the ball at their own 21-yard line, they being the Blast. It was a 13-0 game at the half, and a big third quarter by the War Eagles that broke this thing wide open. Still in there at quarterback for them is Jones, and he is hit back there, and my, what a play by Jermaine Harris.
Wow.
And others.
You know, Jermaine Harris looked like he was shot out of a cannon as he stunted up through there, and it came from that inside linebacker position. And boy, that's a huge loss.
How they've just manhandled this offensive unit, haven't
Yeah, they really have. I would venture to say this offense has not gained a yard in the second half.
I don't believe they have. Bill Sorrell is trying to keep a few stats like I am, but I don't have them for anything here in the second half. They had that one series of plays, their most impressive of the game, back in the first quarter, where they had a pass and then a run for 2 first downs in a row, and that's been it.
Everything else has been losses.
Yep. Jones in there at quarterback. He's got to be a sore young man. He's in the gun. Low snap, but he gets it off the grass there and will fire it downfield. Intended receiver not there. Kaiser is the intended receiver, and great coverage downfield by Keith Wardlow.
Just absolutely blanket coverage, nowhere to go with that ball. You know, and here they go. They've got a big third down with 9:03, and the clock continues to run.
Now look at their offensive linemen leaning over. I mean, they're just spent.
Yeah, they've done everything they can do.
And again, we allude to the fact when you're ahead 35-0, you don't feel the heat as bad as you do when you're down 35-0, do you?
No, and you know, it's a good thing the clock continues to run, because on that incomplete pass, it should stop. They're not going to get this play off.
Big Mike Douglas, we didn't even mention him, big fullback from Jackson Southside. He's not even playing today. He's not dressed out. Got his jersey on down there, so the War Eagles doing this with some people not here today, not playing. Well, a timeout by the Blast. Timeout, 8:35 left in the game, 35-0, 3rd and 16 from their own 15. When we come back after a quick 30 on the War Eagle Network.
Back here at LF Fonville Field, Diamond Dave McCulley, Hal Freeman, where the West Tennessee War Eagles lead this ball game 35-0. 8:35 left in this fourth quarter. The West Tennessee War Eagles are cruising to Trent Boykin's second victory. The West Tennessee War Eagles' second victory. And Diamond Dave, it's been a dominating defensive performance as well as offensive performance in the second half.
I think they fired up the grill at Coach Dickerson's residence down there. They're out on the deck, and I see some folks grilling down there. Maybe a hot dog or two for us.
We might need to. You're good at that.
Yeah.
You like to go in between those people and say, look.
You and I did that up in St. Xavier, didn't we?
Boy, you get beat down. Davis says, "Man, give us a burger."
Yeah, I said, you just manhandle us to let us have something to eat. And Hal and I, we wouldn't have got anything to eat that day if we hadn't done that. 35-0. You weren't real bashful following me. I might add that,
No,
too.
I was in behind you. You know what you were doing. You're the professional.
Here's Jones. Jones running for his life. He is still running for his life. And the young man credit him, but they sack him all the way back at the goal line. It is a safety.
Yeah.
It is a safety. Bug Luster back there. And the guy back there, too, is number 9, that being Trey Vardamer. And Foul Stephen was back here, a piece of that action. So it is a safety with 8:02 left.
You got to know where you are. And that quarterback, you got to just get rid of the ball. And I don't know why he's hanging on the ball as long as he is.
I'm going to give that to Vardamer, a half of a sack to him and to Bug Luster.
Yeah, Greg Luster, yeah.
Yep. And it's 37-0, but Hal, you brought up a good point. Credit him, he hasn't given up. He was running for his life, but you got to know how he circled far back too far, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did. You've got to know, and now all you're doing, you're giving that ball back to the offense, and your defense is absolutely gassed. Now, I hope that Coach Boykin is listening to me on the radio. Coach Boykin, at this point, run the ball.
Yep, 37-0 with 7:57 left here. That, folks, is the second safety of this half.
Third safety of the game.
Third safety of the game. We had 2 last week. We'll double check that. Franklin had the block punt attempt for the safety. Then that safety there.
Yeah, that's third one of the game.
And
we may lead the
world.
Kid that got injured back out punting.
It is. Billingsley, 40, 45, midfield, down to the 47-yard line. He's hit hard there. Knocked down there by the blast, Eric Gaston. And it will be the War Eagles ball again in blast territory, leading 37-0 with 7:27 left here. And the crowd's still in the game despite the fact that we lead big. And it will be, well, at the 45, just short of the 45, around the 46, Al.
Yeah, run the ball. Run this clock, 7:09. You get a few good plays in, get a couple of first downs. You can run this clock out because this defense is gassed.
Yeah, D'Angelo Johnson stays in there at the quarterback position. Offensive line pretty well still intact. You've got Miles out there. Also out will be Chris Graves, the center. And Chris Covington's out there. These guys have gone just about the entire way. Mark Ingram is the tight end. Double tight end set Ashley, which would tell you they're going to run the ball. Terrence Rollins, who had the touchdown reception earlier. 2 receivers far side left, short side of the field. Hashmart left, Johnson under center. He'll pitch it this time to Cole, and Cole falls down back across midfield back at the 48-yard line. Lost his footing there, and it's going to be a loss of about 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 15.
That's a terrible pitch. You got to get him to pitch the ball. You can't pitch it behind him on that right shoulder, and that just puts him in a bad way. And you're right, he slips down trying to secure the ball. Give him a lot of credit for just getting to the ball.
6 minutes. It will be under 6 minutes when we snap this ball again. Leading 13-0 at the break. And now have exploded now for 24 unanswered points here in this half to lead 37-0. We're under the 6-minute mark. Play clock down to 7. Got to hurry up here. Down to 6, down to 5, down to 3.
They still don't know.
They may not get it off. I don't think they're going to.
No.
They're not going to get this play off. It's going to be a delay of game.
Oh.
Well, yep.
Yeah.
They let him go about 5 more seconds. Hal, I think the official's trying to give him a break there.
Trying to run that clock there.
It's going to be 2nd now at about 20. Coach Borkin talking to D'Angelo Johnson.
Anoka's out there trying to help out as well.
So with 5:30 and the clock still continues to run, they're letting it run here, and that's fine with me. So the folks along Arlington sitting out in their lawn on their yard out there, Hal, getting the cheap seats. And the ball all the way back to the 43, where it's now 2nd and 20. We approach the 5-minute mark of the game, 37-0. Here's D'Angelo Johnson. The snap went right through his hands. That was a good snap. It just went right through his hands. And the young backup is struggling here back to the 33. And that's going to be another big loss, and it's going to be 2nd and about 26 yards. Now we've got to get all the way down to the 37, and it's back to the 33.
You know, at this point, these kids, all they want to do is get this ball game over with. They don't care how it's done, and a lot of loss of focus left. And that's something Coach Boykin won't like at this point. He'd like to at least see that second team run a little bit better than this.
Yeah, it's going to be third down at about 27, almost 28 yards. Now, Norke's back in there at quarterback. Two receivers to the near side, two backs back there with him. He hands it off to the big back. And carrying it this time is Jacoby Bond. He's pushed backwards, and then when he arrives at about the 38. And it's going to be fourth, and we'll see Roth punting the ball.
Yeah, it's going to go under 4 minutes now, and you're going to let this thing run all the way down. Get this thing down to almost 3.5 minutes before you punt this ball.
We'll try to get Coach Boykin up here for a post-game interview. He was gracious to come up at halftime, Al.
Yeah, I hope he brings some players up. We'd love to see some of those faces and, you know, get them on the air as quickly as we can. We're going to go with E+ TV6. Try to go up to 7 o'clock today for all those viewers. And appreciate Sam Turner and the bunch letting us take this all the way. And they actually are going to replay this again at 8 o'clock Monday night.
They certainly will. Here's Roth, a good punter. A skip snap back to him, and he gets it away. Good job by Roth on a very bad snap. Inside the 40 now, it takes a blast roll, and it will be down at about the 37-yard line. Downing it downfield for the War Eagles is Anthony Eccles. Good hustle there. Kickers stick together. First guy that is talked to, Frazier, comes out and talks to Roth out there. And it will be 1st and 10 for the blast.
I like that. Coach Boykin is still coaching. He is not giving up. He is sitting there, you know, teaching, has a second to do that, and he's exactly doing what he should be doing, teaching these kids where they need to be.
He's talking to Marlon Finley, another young man from Jackson Northside. Finley's going to come in the game now defensively. So a lot of folks have had a chance to play here today. In the ball game, Marcus Clark's out there. Turner's still out there. Also in the game defensively is Marshall Height. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Blast, trailing the game 37-0. Jeff Thomas is back here with us from over at WIGH, the Jeff and Dave show every morning. He's got his flyer over here to my left. Examiner did a good job with that special that they put in the paper back a couple of weeks ago. And we've got a new quarterback in there, and I don't have his name. He's wearing number 22 out there. And here's the snap back to him in a shotgun. He's going to run for his life, and he's not going to get much. Boy, a beat on him that time was Mike Miles. He's actually in there defensively. Big Mike, offensive lineman, and then he's finished off by Terry Franklin.
And really, all they've got to do is snap the ball 2 more times. Oh.
Coming in the ball game for the War Eagles will be Sean McCormick. Coming out will be Trey Vardamer. Mike Miles, offensive lineman, but he is out there defensively now. 2-minute warning, so let's sneak out and take a 30. 37-0 War Eagles. We'll be back on WBFG and on E+ TV6 after this 30. Stay with us.
Hungry for some good country cooking? Visit Barnhill's Buffet, home of the $4.99 lunch special. This family-friendly buffet is affordable for all ages. Barnhill's Buffet is proud to support the West Tenn War Eagles. Located at 660 Carriage House Drive in Jackson, it's Barnhill's Buffet, where variety meets value.
We're yelling out.
Well, yours truly, Diamond Dave and Hal Freeman, have called many more wins at this facility than we ever have losses. I can't remember many that we've called here through the years. And Hal, we get off to the good start with the War Eagles here at LL Fonville Field with a nice, convincing win here today, too.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a great day to start off the season here. I know it's their second, but their first home win. And it's always great to sleep in your bed after a big home win. And I guarantee you, I see the general manager over there congratulating several of these big offensive linemen, and that's great to see.
Yeah, Ken's really got his heart and has a passion for this franchise. Hope you'll come out and support him. Ken Williams, the general manager, head coach Trent Boykin, Erica Davis, public relations, Denise Campbell in charge of marketing. Well, the new quarterback in there with 1:48 clock running, down 37-0. War Eagles trying to hold him at bay here. They've got a beat on him again. He's going to be sacked. Great play by Denard Woodard. Denaire Woodard, excuse me, and Woodard gets him all the way back at the 25-yard line. Hal, you talked about the speed, the agility of this defense. You see it there with Woodard, the 6-foot, 240-pounder, former Lane Dragon.
I tell you what, that is some tremendous team speed. And once again, we have not seen all these ball clubs. You got to see one last week, but if there's any more team speed out there in this league, I'd love to see it because these kids have got a good ball club.
I've got to see a better defensive unit in the league than what I see here, because I'm telling you, this is a dominating performance again, just like it was last week. A minute left in the game, 37-0 War Eagles. In the gun again, the quarterback over the middle, got a man open. It's caught. Nice catch there by Kaiser, who went through the crease there and caught that ball at about the 45. He's up to about the 47. Nice play. He's tackled there by a host of War Eagles, and then we got one of the Eagles down. And it looks like Myron Vincent is the guy that's down.
I think the wind's knocked out of him the way he's acting.
Well, we had 3 people that hit him, and I think they all wound up hitting each other too, along with Kaiser. Here goes the Sports Plus folks out there to attend to him. They've been busy troopers here in this game. Just short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and about a yard.
Get out by 6:45.
So it's going to be, well, they said it's enough for a first down. I didn't think that, but up at midfield.
Can you go all the way up to 7?
Oh, that'd be fine. Sure, yeah. So at the midfield stripe, it will be at midfield, 1st and 10 there. Nice catch, a nice throw by the unknown quarterback. That's what we're going to call him. At the midfield stripe. It's 1st and 10. I don't mean to be taggy, but we just don't have his name. He rolls right this time, throws, it's caught. Caught out there in the flat by Travis McIntosh. And it's caught out at about the 45-yard line, a pickup of about 5. It's 2nd down and 5. And that's actually Pope that caught that ball. And so it's 2 passes in a row, and Hal, this is by far the best they've looked here in the second half.
Yeah,
19 seconds, though.
They've actually moved the ball a little bit. And a lot of it, this is just to prevent defense is all this is, trying to make sure they preserve their shutout.
Look at Coach Hardigree. He was out there shouting at the defensive unit. He wants a shutout. Down to 12 seconds, down to 11. Out here in the flat, incomplete. They tried to throw it to Brown. And Antoine wanted no piece of that back at the 45-yard line. Coming up lame a little bit is Denaire Woodard. Let's hope he's all right. Looked like he's leaning back, touching his hamstring. I hope he's all right. The quarterback being pressured that time, and the guy that had a beat on him was Stephen Turner, who's had a heck of a defensive game.
This, unless we have an incomplete play, it should be the last play of the game.
Either that or a penalty on the defense. Yep, right. You're right. 8 seconds, all that remains. Hal's going to join us. He'll help us with those interviews after the ball game. E plus TV 6, and Hal, we're going up to 7, you said?
Yep. Sam's given us permission, and we'll do some interviews.
And Molly, if you'll stay with us as well, here's the pass downfield, incomplete. With 2 seconds, with 1 second, clock kept running, and this game is going to end. That ends the game. Your final score and a happy one. 2nd week in a row, the War Eagles toss a shutout. The final here, 37-0. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we're back on the War Eagle Network with the postgame. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to LL Fonville Field. Dave McCulley along with Hal Freeman and all the gang on the TV and on the radio side. We appreciate them ever so much. We're going to be with you about another 10 minutes. Right up to about 6:45, about another 8 minutes it looks like, and we'll try to get Coach Boykin up for a post-game comment. Here's how it all started here today. It started on the opening kickoff, a 75-yard kickoff return by Justin Mood. That coming at the 14:42 mark. Frazier, the PAT, made it 7-0. Meanwhile, the scoring recap looks like this too. At 11:38, Frazier, the 33-yard field goal, made it 10-0. And then at the 1:13 mark of the second quarter, a new LL Fonville Field record and a career record for Sean Frazier, the former kicker at Bethel, a 55-yard field goal that had about another 5 yards to spare as well. 13-0. That's how we stood at the halftime break. At the 11:15 mark, Terry Franklin, the block punt attempt, led to a safety, made it 15-0. At the 9:20 mark, Anoke to Rollins. Terrence Rollins caught it, 25-yard touchdown pass. The PAT was blocked, made it 21-0. At the 5:34 mark of the third quarter, the offense got it cranked up. An 18-yarder. Anoke to Person made it 27-0. Frazier, the PAT, made it 28-0. And then at the 2:51 mark of the third stanza, a 1-yard plunge by Anoke. The 14-yard drive made it 34-0. Frazier, the PAT, made it 35-0. And then the safety, another safety, sacked by Vardamer and Bug Luster. That coming late in the ball game, made it 37-0. And that's how this game ended. The War Eagles go to 2-0 on the campaign, and the Memphis Brass fall to 0-2 as well. Let's take another 1 minute break. A 1 minute break, we'll try to get Coach Boykin up for a quick post-game comment. We have about another 7 minutes with you. Back up to this on the War Eagle Network. Stay with us. Well, 2 games and 58-0 your total score. 21-0 last week, 37-0 today, as the Memphis Brass, the second victim of your West Tennessee War Eagles. Welcome back to LL Fonville Phil, everybody. Dave McCulley along with Hal Freeman. And the happy final again, 37-0. We're trying to get Coach Boykin up here for a quick comment. Even if we have to break that interview off down there, we need to get him here if we possibly can. 37-0 today. The War Eagles win it. That scoring recap again for you. The War Eagles will have the stats hopefully for you next week. For the 75-yard kickoff return by Mood. Frazier, a 33-yard field goal. Frazier, a 55-yard field goal. And then it was the War Eagles here breaking this thing wide open in the third quarter, scoring 22 2 consecutive points to open up to a 30. Will make it actually 35-0. Never very good with my math, as you can tell. And then at 37-0, your happy final. The Franklin block punt attempt, and then it was Rollins, the touchdown reception from Anoke, made it 21-0. 18-yarder Anoke to Person made it 27-0. PAT by Frazier made it 28-0. And then Anoke, a 1-yard plunge, made it 34-0. PAT by Frazier made it 35-0. And then the sack by Varner made it 37-0 as well. We've got other media people impeding here, and we need to get Coach Borkin up here ASAP for a quick post-game comment. So let's step out for another 1-minute break and back right after this, hopefully with a final comment from Coach Borkin. Stay with us on the War Eagle Network.
Hey, Coach, I got 4 minutes. Hey, Butler, let me get him before you get him. Good Lord.
Well, as we said a moment ago, 2 games and 58-0. 21-0 last week, 37-0 this week. And here's the happy coach of the War Eagles, Coach Trent Borkin. And Trent, thanks so much for hustling up here. I know you're probably out of breath, but boy, you're ringing wet.
Yeah.
You're hotter than I am. But how about your team? Boy, the offense got it cranked up there in the third quarter. Defense continued to exploit the blast. Congratulations on a big convincing win.
Thank you. We just, at halftime, we just talked about, us doing what we need to do offensively. We didn't feel like they were doing anything that we didn't prepare for all week, and came out and just executed what we talked about doing at halftime.
Before we get to that offensive unit in the second half, again, for folks that may have missed the halftime when you were up with us here on top of the press box, defense dominating again, second week in a row.
Oh, I tell our offense all the time, we're playing against the best defense in our conference every day at practice, and it's a heck of a group out there. It doesn't matter who's in at the D-line, doesn't matter who's in at the linebacker position. All of those guys can flat out play, and that's a advantage for us because, teams start to get wear down, and our guys just keep coming and keep coming.
No one had to be any happier other than Terrence Rollins and Dexter, and then Dexter and Person than you. You had to be the third or fourth happiest guy here after those 2 touchdown passes.
Correct. And we knew that those are some talented guys, and we just got to find a way to get them the football, and we're going to keep working to find different creative ways to get them the football. Again, and Dexter's only been practicing for three weeks now,
sure.
So he'll be even better again next week.
A lot of coaches will tell you that there are always games won or lost by special teams, and today special teams dominated by the War Eagles as well.
Special teams, I'm telling you, we talk about it and harp about it and practice it, and we want to make sure we've got the best 11. And there's times in practice guys are fighting to get in because they know special teams is big for us, and if you want to play, you better be able to get on special teams.
Coach, about 30 seconds. I wish we had more time with you, but on the road next week again, Huntsville, and look forward to that one.
Man, I appreciate it. It's a good football team. We watched them play the Blast about 3 weeks ago. We got film on them. They got a pretty good wide receiver and a good quarterback, and they got a very, very good linebacker. So we got a plan for how we're going to contain him. But all we got to do is just keep worrying about ourselves and get ourselves ready to go.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
There he is, Trent Borkin. He's 2-0. That's going to wrap it up for us. On the radio side at WBFG 96.5 and E+ TV 6, I'm Dave McCulley for Hal Freeman and all the folks behind the scenes. So long, everybody.
No, just run right up there. Okay. Okay.